to engage in any meetings to allow teams to pitch him on an idea of coming to their prospective team.
Instead, his agent, Rich Paul, will meet with teams, then relay the info back to LeBron to make a decision. It's believed the Cavaliers are very much in the mix for another return of LeBron to Cleveland. Cavs continue with Summer League minicamp on Monday. Team get ready for games on Las Vegas later on this week. Among those on the roster this summer, Naquan Tomlin, who played in 64 games with the Cavs last season. The Cavs start Vegas Summer League play Friday afternoon as they will face the Indiana Pacers. Guardians on the road tonight begin a 3-game series in Minnesota, taking on the Twins. Guardians coming off a weekend series against the White Sox where they split the 4 games. Guardians come into tonight's contest, trailing Chicago by 1 game for first in the American League Central. Joey Cantillo, he'll get the start tonight for Cleveland, 7-3, a 3.86 ERA. World Cup action, round of 16 in Seattle last night. Not a good one for the United States as they lose to Belgium 4-1. The Americans have not reached the quarterfinals since 2002. The 4 goals allowed, the most by a U.S. team at the World Cup since 1990. Lauren Balogun, who had his 1-game suspension lifted and played last night, very little impact on the game for the U.S. You can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
Your day isn't complete unless you know how Cleveland fits into the national sports scene. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Do you think LeBron's coming back?
I kind of think he is now, Kenny. After last week thinking he was not, I kind of think he is now.
Okay, why?
Well, first of all, the prediction markets, if you're a believer in that sort of thing, they've wildly swung in favor of Cleveland. Part of it is I'm getting kind of reeled in because of the social media stuff, which I know people say be careful about that. This is LeBron.
Hey, that's the fun of it.
Doing his attention-seeking stuff. But you've seen him reunite with his Cavs teammates a few weeks ago, and now he's reuniting with his St. Vincent St. Mary teammates, his friends from back in Akron. He's hanging out at all the Akron places.
Club 330 he was at.
Watching him just kind of chronicle him back in town, and there's a lot of nostalgia that's setting in. Maybe I'm getting swept up in it a little too much, but I can't deny that's hard for me to now see him go, all right, Northeast Ohio, it's been fun. I'm going to go play for another basketball team.
I would happen to agree with you.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Soccer, yeah!
Kenny, what'd you think?
I was watching. You know what I saw?
Yeah, what'd you see?
I mean, yeah, they lost to a better team. I saw all these hot takes. See, this is what I'm trying to avoid. I'm dead serious. They lost last night, and I'm seeing these takesmen just one after another. Boom, 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 boom. Like a short order cook. Boom, you get a take. Boom, you get one. You get one. And I'm like, you guys I've never seen any of you say anything about soccer. Not a damn thing. And maybe I'm not cut out for this. And I thought, it's like, why am I going to? I have no idea. I have zero clue. All I saw, but I came away kind of impressed. I'm like, well, they got to the round of 16. They lost to Belgium. Belgium, I've heard, has always been good at the soccer. So what the hell am I going to be ripping on the Team USA for? And I'm like, man, I never see, like, there are some people I know that do follow soccer, and they were letting them have it. Okay. But I don't know how am I going to rip on the U.S.? Like, I don't know what's good and I don't know what's bad. Uninspired, unserious.
That's what people were saying?
The unserious stuff. Guys, we need to stop. They're serious. Everybody takes everything seriously. Let's stop with the unserious thing. Let's pump the brakes on unserious. Everybody was serious. It was a very serious match that they lost by a serious margin, apparently. I mean, yeah. We don't need to be the best at every single damn thing. There are some things, it's just logical. We have a lot of people in this country. You would think that we would be good, very good, or the best at a lot of things. And honestly, we are. When it comes to sports, we are the best at a lot of things because there's so many people. It is a developed country, and compared to a lot of other countries, this country still seems to have money. And so we're able to compete in a lot of things. But when you're going up against Belgium and you're going, like, this is their thing. This is what they live for. It's what they're raised on. And it's like, hey, I got no problem losing to Belgium. I didn't think we were going to win the damn thing anyway. And I'm seeing these people I've never seen have an opinion on soccer just up and down on Team USA. I'm like, why? I don't know any of these guys. I don't know them. So I just sat there. I watched Team USA the same way I would watch a Little League baseball game. I hope they do well, and I hope they win. But if they don't, well, tomorrow's going to be another day. Mm-hmm. Now, to a serious soccer fan, I understand that there's some of you out there, and that might seem to be insulting. I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just telling you how I saw it, because I'm not going to sit there and rip on some I don't know. I don't know. So if I don't know, I'm not in a position to go and say all these nasty things about, oh, my God, this is just uninspired, unserious soccer being played. I don't know, Kenny, how many soccer games have you really watched over the last 30 years? Not too terribly many.
That's so interesting that would be the criticism. To me, it was just so plainly obvious how much better the players were.
Yeah, one team was much better than the other one.
Like, I think that is like a coping mechanism to say, well, they just, didn't try hard enough or they didn't take it seriously enough?
Yeah.
No, they don't. I mean,
that's what they say.
The reality is, coming into the tournament, if you looked at any list of top 50 players in the world, we had 0. Normally, we would have a goalie, but our goalie is like the worst goalie we've ever had.
Did you see him get lost out there in the middle of the field before the fourth goal? Did anybody else see that?
Where he did a pump fake kick, and instead the defender that was right behind him just went yoink.
I was like, what's he doing out there?
Yeah, that wasn't very
But I don't
good.
know much. Can somebody explain that to me, what he was doing all the way the hell out there?
He doesn't even know what he was doing all the way the hell out there.
John, do you know about soccer?
A little bit.
All right, so that was ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
I can't rip him for that.
My reaction was LeBron's reaction to J.R. Smith.
Because he was a good 40 yards, it seemed, away from the
It was like,
from the goal.
How far did somebody on a lark, did somebody dare him? How far can you run out and make it back in time?
Did he forget where he was? Like, I've got, like, we've all ended up, I told you the story about me at Myrtle Beach when all of a sudden they yelled, "What are you doing?" And I'm like at the end of the pier, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. Is that the way he felt? Is that the way that was?
He knows he's not allowed to use his hands outside of that box, right?
Oh, he's not. I thought you could use your hands at all times.
Infinity hands?
I did not know that. I don't know these things. I didn't know.
Listen.
So wait, are we talking the big box? There's that big ass huge box you can use your hands out there. And then if you're outside that box, you're not allowed to use your hands.
You're just a player then.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You can pull yourself if you go outside the box.
Like, I didn't think he could pick it up and carry it rugby style or anything like that, but I just always thought he could stop a ball with his hands.
Which would be more fun.
I didn't know that.
I kind of like that. So, yeah, you could tell 5 minutes in, I think they had like 11 shots on goal, like right away, and it was just very confusing. Not confusing, it was just very obvious to everybody. Even if you had never watched soccer, ever, or if this was like your 7th match you've ever seen. Ding.
It looked
like it was so one-sided.
But
we did tie it up, right?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. 35 seconds.
But hey, it's still tied, was it not? Okay, it's not our thing. Ended up losing the game.
All right, so
match.
The inevitable question is, did they do enough hosting? Because remember, there's the excitement all over the country. The Europeans that have traveled here, the people from all over the world that have traveled here, could not say enough good things, great things about this country. In fact, they think we're going to get another World Cup like quicker than normal because it's been so awesome.
Because I can't believe the people who are surprised. Like, you guys don't see anything when it comes to college football over there? They don't see anything in Europe?
I don't think so.
Like, I see things in Europe, and I go, that's cool. Like, I've known about Serbian basketball for at least a handful of years now and how they set fires in the stands and things like that.
Maybe if you have a clear Sunday morning like we do with Premier League soccer sometimes.
So they're not supposed. So I have to learn everything about what they do. They're not supposed to learn anything about me.
Different channels.
Now
we got 100,000 seat Coliseum. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have Neyland Stadium, Penn State, Ohio State. We have 100,000 seat Coliseums here to college football, and they're going, I can't believe they have all these stadiums here. It's like, yeah, it's pretty big land, and we love sports. Like, yeah, there's the stadiums are huge.
I thought that'd be the biggest detriment for people coming over here is how spread out it was, right? Compared to like it just being in a country in Europe, and you get on a train and you're in the next place in an hour.
Knowing a couple of the Englishmen that I know, they were the travel. You're right. Like for us, it's nothing to go like, it's an hour away. Get in the car and go an hour away. They're like, an hour? You got to travel an hour to get. It's like, yeah, it's a big country. It's a very, very, very vast.
Some of
land.
them are 12 hours in a car.
Yeah, and for guys like Owen, and honestly, in my past, ain't nothing. 12 hours in a car, you're just kind of getting warmed up.
Now, they do not drink during the games the way that we do. They stay in the stands.
There's not a lot of time to drink during the game.
There's no moving.
It's only a 90-minute game.
You are just sitting. It's crazy when you watch the EPL. Everybody's got the dark jackets.
Well, that's why they get sloshed before the game, right? Don't they go in there sloshed?
Oh, yeah. And then after the
and then
game.
you kind of they gear down a little bit during the game, but you get excited. And then by the end of the game, you're probably ready to go have a few more.
By the way,
which is fine.
Is it because of the downtime we have in the NFL that
probably
we are you're sitting there going up into the stands, coming back. There's a line for beer.
Got a down spot in it, right? Like soccer, you get
missed half a quarter trying to get back.
Yeah, you get a little bit there in the middle, but I don't know how much time you have to go actually back. I'm sure they make a way out of it, I guess.
The question is, like, that felt like, all right, Cinderella's run ended. The step up in competition was pretty
did it do
enormous.
enough to, like, permeate?
Yeah.
See,
this break through? We ask this every time.
You're going to hate me because I'm not going to go anywhere with you on this argument. I just think it's a dead argument that's been going on by our generation, boomers, and Gen X for the last 40 years. I think soccer is in its rightful place in the United States. It has plenty of fans. It has passionate fans. It has its own professional league. We basically built a stadium in Miami for Lionel Messi where he's basically having a residence, like a Vegas residence of an act. Like, that's great. And by the way, the stadium's opulent. I drove by it. It's really nice.
Well, we've never. You said we've been having the same argument, but the conditions have changed. We've never had like the EPL TV deal where you can go in Cleveland. There are bars that are packed to watch. That didn't happen 20 years ago.
But that's what I mean.
So they've made huge inroads.
But that's
and social media here in this country.
But that's where I think it is. It's not like everything doesn't have to compete with the NFL or college football.
No, that's.
But I think our generations have had this fight of going, oh my God, is this sport, this soccer? Is it going to take over the NFL? It's like, no, it's not. Nothing's going to take over the NFL. So what's the threat? Why do I feel threatened?
No, not a threat. The question is, how big can this get? And obviously,
you're seeing it.
Like somebody,
how as big as it's going to get.
Somebody tweeted us this morning. Liberal soccer moms. Those are the only people that care about this. I'm like, man, you can't get a soccer field. You can't get
liberal soccer. What does politics have to do?
Well,
with
they're saying that the women who didn't want their kids playing football because of CTE and injuries, those are the only people that care about soccer. And I'm like, man, the soccer program in the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, like they've never been bigger.
If you are still, I've seen more sharing of the sport than I have in a very long time. If you're still one of the ones that are terrified of soccer and saying that soccer is going to steal football players, like, yeah, there's some guys. It's just football ain't for everybody, man. It's weird. It's a weird game because it takes a lot of people to play it, but it ain't for everybody. And I've not seen, like, I think there's been more. I'm going to start a whole war here, and I don't want to. I think there's been more of the year-round baseball stuff than I have seen with soccer. I've seen plenty of sharing with lacrosse and rugby and soccer than I have about basketball and baseball. And I just, when it like we are almost talking about two different things. We're talking about development one, and then you're talking about general interest in the other. So when it comes to general interest, I think that soccer is what it is. It's on the product ladder for some. It's not on the product ladder for others.
Well, the thought was always that the more exposure soccer would have in this country would lead to more kids playing soccer in this country. Well, those are two check marks. That is,
of course, more kids playing soccer.
That is exponentially higher than it was when we were young.
There's more leagues. There's more opportunities. There were no leagues when I was a kid. Not in Stark County, Ohio. That's obviously the birthplace of pro football. But obviously things change, and by the way, guys, that's fine. That's why I'm annoyed by the argument. I'm not annoyed by you. I know it has to be brought up, but I'm annoyed by the argument. Like, guys, the argument's dead. Like, there's plenty of soccer. There's plenty of kids who, by the way, they play soccer through fourth grade, and they're like, all right, I'm going to play football now. Or they just keep playing soccer. And by the way, That's cool, man. That's fine. I don't need to sit there and have the fight because to me, soccer's in the same boat in America as NASCAR, as golf, as a handful of other things that are not football, not Major League Baseball, not the NBA. Throw both college football and the NFL in. By the way, that's fine. There's still a market for it because there's a lot of people here, and I don't know why we have to have this, oh my God, something's going to attack my NFL. No, as Al Michaels said, almost called him the late Al Michaels. Al Michaels said, he's still with us, the NFL fell from 1 to 1 in ratings. Like, you're not competing with it, and I don't know what we were ever nervous about, and there's nothing to be nervous about. I guess I'm only arguing against my own insecurity if I'm arguing against it. There's nothing wrong with some soccer being played. I don't care. You want to play the soccer? It's not my biggest thing, obviously. I respect it. Go play the soccer. Go play it. Fine. I don't understand. I don't get the fight that I pray that our generation is the last that have this argument, this silly argument where we go and we say nasty things to each other, and it makes the people who really like soccer really defensive of the game, and it makes us all like want to beat down on soccer. If you don't want to go to a soccer match, who cares? Don't go to the soccer match. I'm not getting. I never once had soccer shoved down my throat. Never once. Beg pardon. When I had to work it, but I was getting paid to work it when I worked facilities at Akron. And then I told you I ended up liking the coach. So what's getting shoved down my throat?
School.
Exactly. There's nothing getting shoved down my throat. It's perfectly fine. Go ahead and enjoy the soccer. And yeah, when it comes to sports talk radio.
So you don't. It sounds like you don't think the sport's really growing anymore. You think it's where it's at.
No,
this is where it's going to be.
It's not that it can't grow or it can't have a boom. I'm never going to say nothing. I'm never going to put a cap on anything. I'm never going to do that. But I think when it comes to the household sports, like football is just a different animal in this country. It's just a different animal. That's pro and college and high school to a level. But when it comes to the other ones, you're going to have your points where it's bigger. You're going to have the points where it kind of languishes or goes through. There's peaks and valleys. And their peaks and valleys are the same when it comes to, again, NASCAR, golf, soccer, et cetera, et cetera. But I've been a big NASCAR guy my entire life. You think I get mad at anybody? They're not athletes. Okay, great. Go back to 1978 and have that argument. I don't care. You're not having it with me. Great. I don't care. You're not getting under my skin with that. And I hope that a soccer fan isn't getting. I hope nobody's bothering to try to get under their skin because, you went to Old Angle. Yeah, that's how they prefer to spend their time. They enjoy soccer. There's way worse ways to enjoy life in America than going to Old Angle and watching soccer on a Sunday or Saturday morning. There's no problem with that. So to me, this isn't some, I cannot stand, and I know we have to do it, and I'll do it with you today. I'm not blaming you, this referendum on soccer every single World Cup. It is what it is. It's a popular sport. It's more popular in other countries, and that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Is that so wrong? Is that bad? I didn't give you what you wanted, I'm sure.
Well,
and I'm sorry.
You said the argument's dead, so that's the argument's dead. We can move on.
I don't have to have an argument. We can have a conversation. I actually didn't even give you any latitude to give your opinion on it. I apologize for that. I kind of just got annoyed by the people in my mentions overnight going, well, finally we don't have to talk about this. Like, barely talked about it as it was.
Well, there still is more World Cup, though, in this country. So,
yeah. Are you going to bust my ass over not watching the other games now? Matches?
I told you. The stuff that I have seen has been amazing, and I'm not a huge soccer fan. So it gave me motivation to keep watching. Like, I don't have any stake in it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to gamble on it or anything. But it has been pretty fun to watch.
All right, 216.
Which I didn't think I would say beforehand. I didn't think I'd be that into it.
All right, where does soccer rank? Did this make inroads at all to you? All right, I'll have the conversation. I don't want to have an argument. Maybe I'm a little bit touchy because of the old arguments that have happened in the past. We'll have a conversation about it. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work. The Odyssey app is free. Get it right now. You can do the coming in hot button. It's a wonderful time on the Fan. 92.3.
sucks tonight. Pulisic had a really tough night. Even from the first minute of the game. I think Eric, our statistician, passed me a piece of paper. He said Pulisic's first 5 touches, turnovers, first 3 of them. Yeah. He looked like the moment was too big for him. I thought this was going to be a big game for him, and it just wasn't. And, whatever happened with the injury, and Tillman was good. I thought McKennie did what he could. But to beat a team like Belgium, Mo, you need every single one of your top players playing at a high level. We just didn't have it.
That's audio courtesy of Stu Holden. He's a Fox Sports soccer color commentator. U.S. lost 4-1 yesterday. Second half wasn't very good. Goalie still running around lost. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He looks like Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights.
That was a good play by him.
Like good instincts.
Oh, you did you?
Well, he was coming out. The guy was running on. He was going to have the ball in front of him. He had to come out and try to stop him. It's either that or sink back in the box and take a hard shot.
I would have preferred a handball over all those things.
I like that. I like where Owen's at.
We would have been in better shape had he have just picked up the ball. They'd have been better off.
Probably would have. What is the penalty for a handball? Is it a penalty kick?
I think you get I don't know if you take a free kick in that spot or if you get a penalty kick.
Huh.
I don't know that much about it, but my daughter played goalie. She went to Italy and played. It was fun.
that's right.
With the Italians.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, they take it seriously over there.
He would have been better off picking up the ball, running out of the stadium, and never returning and having the game end at that exact moment.
Yeah,
and then,
more likely.
And then Pulisic, who is the only one I knew going into this, just because of the fervor of Christian Pulisic. And boy, it seems like all they want to talk about him is he soft? Is he soft? Is he a softie?
Why is he soft?
The injuries. A lot of people thought he was either milking.
Well, isn't he in that
the
an attempt? Wait a minute. Is that not an attempt to put somebody else in trouble with a yellow card?
I don't know.
Isn't that a form of gamesmanship?
You could even tell in that clip that we play. Who was that? Was that Ronaldo?
Stu Holden.
Oh, Stu Holden.
It was not Ronaldo.
The Ronaldo of Fox Sports Soccer Analytics.
No, I mean, remember Eric Ronaldo? Wasn't that a player?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Wow.
Actually, this is when we need to hear from Alexi Alalis, because doesn't he crush them around every turn? And people are disgusted by his commentary.
You would know better.
He's too negative.
Actually, I would probably know better than you, but still, yeah.
But anyway, that if that's our best play, if Pulisic's our best player, we're in trouble anyway. Because he's not like a world-renowned player.
We got Balogun back.
We did.
Did that backfire? Did that make the Belgians want to rub it in our face?
Well, did that motivate
Rub
him?
our noses in it?
John said they were trolling us.
John said they were trolling us, which, yeah, you're allowed to. I would have trolled them. Like I had the shoe bit on the other foot. Like we did that when we beat Canada in the Olympics. Like everybody was trolling Canada. Like, yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, the Belgians. I hope they're enjoying waffles, and I hope that they're enjoying themselves after their victory. They deserved it. It was a hell of a win by them.
Yeah, Belgium population 11.7 million.
Not bad, not as many as ours, but still not bad. But that's like their thing. I don't know I don't know Belgium to play other sports. Do you know what Belgium is to play other sports? I think that's their big national thing. Mm-hmm. So they should be good at it, and they're good at it. Congratulations on all their success.
Just waffles, man. That's all I know about.
Yeah, waffles.
Make a mean waffle.
I thought Bjorn Borg was from there, and he's not. He's from Switzerland. So I didn't even get that right. So I don't know anything else about Belgium. So congratulations to them, and I hope they fare well in the future. There, it was a hard-fought victory, and they beat the brakes off us. But I took the air out of the room here because of the old argument about where's soccer at in America, like where does it rank, and I didn't really give you any latitude to say your opinion on anything, and I regret that, so go right on ahead.
Well, I asked the question, like, do you have these...
I'm just so focused on not trying to be a cliche.
Sure. Do you have these moments in time where because they hosted the World Cup here in this country, and because they got to the Sweet 16, regardless of who they beat to get here or whatever, it wasn't exactly Murderer's Row, apparently. I wouldn't know. It's just by looking at the rankings of the teams. And because of just how much bigger some of the international stuff is than when we were young. Even when we launched the station, there was not, it was like a running gag about, oh yeah, English Premier League got a TV contract. Well, now English Premier League, the TV contract, like it is a big deal. It is something that a lot more people in, John's generation and, maybe people slightly above that. Like, they do all have a team. They do. They all have an English Premier League team now. And the gambling, I'm sure the gambling added to it too. All these things combined, is it enough to really move the needle, or like you said, is it a dead conversation? It's where it's at.
I think there will be, obviously there's always some sort of an uptick here, but I do think that when I say the conversation's dead, I just go, why are we getting in these fights anymore? It's over. The soccer fear that the generation before me had, it's done. They play the game. Go ahead and play soccer. It doesn't matter. Like, share it. It's fine. My whole fight is I guess when it comes to, like, all right, if you're talking about just development in America sports, I don't care about soccer. My fight is not with soccer. My fight is with those who say that they want a nice variety of sports until it comes to the sport that they coach. Then it's all of a sudden, well, you don't want to do that. You don't want to play football. You don't want to play lacrosse. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. And so we just take kids and we specialize them, and I think that's wrong, but I'm the only person. I think there's a few people who actually mean what they say. We love to quote Kyle Ripken until it's our sport, and then no, you got to play some winter baseball here. No, because there's nothing that says baseball like fluorescent lights in an old warehouse that's been turned into a baseball academy by some guy who can't have a regular job because he can't be trusted off a ball diamond. I mean, that to me is the great pastime of America. That's my problem. But when it comes to soccer, play it. Play the hell out of it. Play it as long as you want. If you like the game, then you like the game. The old arguments of that, I think they're done. It's an eclectic country. There's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of people here, and everything has a chance to have its sport. And Owen gave me a look when I was like, hey, I'm not trying to be a cliche. I know what I sound like. I know what I look like. And I just want to remind it that I'm not going to be closed-minded on this, and I try not to be closed-minded on a lot of things.
I don't think the question is whether or not, if you're choosing like NFL or football over this. The question now is, does it seem like in John's generation, and I don't know, Owen, you were with a bunch of kids this week, so even younger, way younger, but is it that they like both, that they actually openly enjoy both now?
Why not? But Owen, he asked you the question. Go right on ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have kids. We were so disconnected from the world last week that I had a couple kids asking, like, do you think we can watch whatever game they played before?
Paraguay?
I didn't even watch
Australia?
it. I have no clue what happened in the World Cup at all. I don't really know what happened in the LeBron thing, so I'm looking forward to catching up on that soon. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, a few kids asked about it, but it's not like they wore jerseys and were clamoring for it. They had their own thing, and baseball was our big focus last week, and that's what they were focused on. And I have kids that, a couple football kids, a lot of them are hockey kids, actually, because it lines up with them. But, nobody, like, living and dying by wanting to know what soccer was or going to play soccer.
Out where I was in Bay Village, which is huge soccer.
It is a huge soccer.
So I got that sample is not exactly, indicative of everywhere, but all weekend, and it just happened to coincide with World Cup going on and the Bay Days, the July 4th stuff. There were USA youth jerseys everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
Great.
But that's just that community. I don't know if that's going on everywhere.
Let me get to Rodney and no. Let me put him on hold. 216-474.
Well, I do wonder. It's a little different in Bay as far as people's ability to afford things like that. I wonder how many kids, if they had their druthers and they could either get their favorite football player or their favorite basketball player or a USA Soccer jersey. Who's going to pick that USA Soccer jersey first?
It's still probably on the low end.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Yeah. You're right. 216-474-0092. All right, I want to get to a couple of people here. And the longer he drags this out, the worse it is if he doesn't pick us. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app. Tone.
XTENDAV.
they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
About last night, 7:45. Apparently, there was some international intrigue and mystery in last night's match. People on social media saying that they were rooting for Belgium, the whole deal. Also, Lima has himself a hell of a conundrum tonight. Might be an old beat the traffic type of night for Tone. Find that out later on in the show. 216-474-0092. All right, Rodney in Litchfield. Hello.
A point I want to make about a spike in soccer because of the World Cup. If anybody thinks that the World Cup's not going to draw interest with kids in the United States, I mean they're nuts. I mean we're talking about it right now. It's on the TVs at a bar or a restaurant. It's being played locally to some people. And I want to give you an example of a spike in sport that was just a movie. And again, I don't know if you guys are followers or not, but you guys familiar with The Color of Money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look what it did for billiards 40 years ago. Now, it's dying again. Kids do not like playing anything slow. The sport itself, billiards itself.
Yeah, it died.
I did take a bigger interest in the PGA, or not the PGA, in the PBA because of Kingpin. I'm not joking. That is not a joke.
Well, and when they have the Ryder Cup, I wonder what kind of spike there is in equipment sales and stuff for that weekend. Anything like that is going to draw interest. I mean, you know how people are. They'll argue with you that it's not raining outside in the middle of a thunderstorm. There's some people just want to argue it. And I'll tell you, some of the biggest offenders of soccer in this country is high school football fanatics. They cannot stand when they lose. They can't stand to lose players to the soccer team.
But I'm not seeing
Kenny and Kenny's ilk.
What are you talking about?
All your buddies.
Yep.
That's I actually did not say that. And I'm Rodney. I'm sorry. I think that's a bygone era. Thank you very much for the call.
Billiards?
I mean, I've
Snookers.
I've done Friday Night Touchdown.
Great cookies.
Backgammon's not that. I've done Friday Night Touchdown for a long time, and I'm not hearing the complaining about the soccer anymore. That's an old dead argument to me.
It does seem
from
like
an old dead argument from old high school coaches who stopped coaching a long time ago.
Yeah, Kenny, hasn't there been more of an acceptance there?
I think there's been more of an acceptance. Plus, I mean, you've seen more guys. I mean, you have been and this is what kind of bothers me about some of the other things. We have found a way in a lot of not every program, obviously, but there's been a way to share them. You have to do a lot of doing, but there's been a way to share the sports, and I don't understand how the other ones can't share when they're at different times of the year. Like, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I don't know many D1, D2, D3 football programs that their kicker isn't also a soccer player.
Exactly.
And they show up. They come to football practice maybe once a week.
We got a kid
if it works out with the soccer schedule, and then they don't schedule games on Friday nights because everybody's using their field.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not going to say who it is. There's a kid in town. He hits like 50-yard field goals already, and he's young. And they're like, "Hey, be our field goal kicker." Yeah, be our place kicker. Great. Hey, can you also play wideout? Because we might need you at wideout. We're a little thin. And yeah, fine. I'll run the routes to hell with. Like, that's how it becomes. And I don't understand where. Listen, to me, if you are one of the ones, and I've seen it before, and I think it's terrible. Like, Owen knows this. There's been coaches who've been like, "You don't be doing wrestling." Okay, well, just kill your own program then. Don't be doing this and that. You're just going to kill your own program. You tell them not to do something. If you don't give them the freedom to do it, they're going to go away from you. And I think that any football guy understands that there's other sports that are involved, and you try to make room for it. Because football's a game where there's a lot of practice and there's only a few games, so it can be burn them out real quick. And anybody who's still thinking that way, I'm sorry, you're just old. You're old and you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the now and to the future. Owen knows that. I know that. Lima, you will know that. Keith knows that. Any high school football coach is probably nodding their head who's listening to this right now if they're driving into camp or anything like that. Like, it's a different era, man. You got to share them. You got to share them. 216-474-0092. All right, one more. Rob in Medina. Rob, hello.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Rob.
I just want to say that I think whatever the sport is the biggest in the country, that's where the top athletes are going to go. Like you said, someone said before, what else does Belgium do? So the top athletes in Belgium, their goal is to be the national soccer team. Imagine if our national soccer team was Tyreek Hill, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and in goal, Myles Garrett. Imagine if that was our team. Would they be soft?
Well, I think you're right. Lima, you actually made this point before. Like, okay, if LeBron James didn't, and Rob, thank you for the call. If LeBron James didn't grow up playing basketball, would he not be one of the better players of just about anything else?
Yeah, the Allen Iverson was always the one that I would bring
Iverson.
up.
Well, there's Charlie Ward, for crying out loud. If we want to do that, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
How would those guys not, had they have committed their life with as quick as they are? And I know soccer people get all mad. Immediately, the soccer gatekeepers come out and say, no, you don't understand. It's a different skill set. It's like, we're talking about athletes, right? We're talking about athletes, and if that was the sport...
And we're not saying that they would show up today and beat your team, but if they trained for it for a few years...
Yeah, and if it was ingrained...
That was their life.
If Allen Iverson's father and grandfather and great-grandfather, and they grew up with a soccer ball in the cradle, I think Kobe Bryant would have been... And he did play soccer, but if that was... the only thing they put their athleticism towards.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill. My God, what a great example.
Athleticism is athleticism.
Look at how fast.
There's some sports I guess they can't play, but I don't think everybody can just see ball, hit ball. I don't think everybody can just play Premier League soccer. I will say that. And maybe LeBron wouldn't be as good of a soccer player as he is a basketball player. But I imagine if he had grown up playing soccer from the age of 3 on, he'd probably be a really good soccer player. Be a little weird because he's 6'8".
Yeah,
I don't think I've
tall.
ever seen a 6'8" soccer player, but I'm sure there's been one or two in history.
There's some, but you're right. Yeah, it always
also,
to
if
me.
you had a $70 million a year guaranteed deal in soccer, that'd probably sway people.
Yeah,
in America.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I know overseas.
Yeah, we will never have the leagues in this country. We'll always have the one-offs. All right, we're paying Messi. But we don't have the best leagues here, and that is the biggest difference.
But I also think that we're doing a lot of time. Look at this. Again, this is why I'm so annoyed. I thought that they'd had a nice step forward getting back to the round of 16. I've always been critical of the men's program compared to the women's program. We talked about that even for a spell yesterday. But everybody's spending a bunch of time ripping these guys today. And it's okay, they didn't go as far as what some of the people wanted them to go. I still thought it was a quality product throughout. I understand that there was controversy going into this one. Got beat by a team that's obsessed with it, that's better at it. Okay, that's the way it goes. You can't sit there and do everything, but I don't think that this is going to hurt soccer. I don't know if it's going to be a great big thing that ends up being a boom to it, though. Had they won the World Cup, maybe we have a different conversation about that. But round of 16, we've been round of 16 before. Didn't they reach the round of 16 in South Korea in 2002? I know that was a long time ago.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, so they've gotten further before. Chris Haynes, he was on. What the hell was Chris Haynes on?
NBA
I lost my
TV.
sheet. He was on NBA TV. Thank you. On the show called The Association. Here's LeBron's approach to these meetings.
I'm told, as of right now, there are no plans for LeBron to engage in any meetings to allow teams to pitch him on an idea of coming to their prospective teams. What I am told that his agent, Rich Paul, is doing all the background work. He's talking with teams, and then in return, he will relay all the intel and data to LeBron James, in which LeBron will make a decision. So there will be no meetings, no pitches that will allow for teams to sit down with LeBron. LeBron will make his decision based off of the intel that he's receiving from his agent, Rich Paul.
Again, audio courtesy of NBA TV. I think there's only one fan base that could get really, really mad at him if he takes too long at this, and I think it's ours. Because we're kind of, over the last 48 hours, we've kind of banked on we're hinging on him probably coming back, or we have to run this thing back. And of the Cavs fans that we talk to every day, it seems that 98% of them say you cannot run this back. You have to do something. And I think that if Miami didn't get LeBron back, it's all right, we had LeBron. We don't have LeBron now. No big deal. We got Giannis. That's fine. I think all these other contenders, Minnesota was a contender before LeBron. The Cavs are a contender before LeBron, but it's not the same. And I think a lot of people have hinged it to it. If he takes a inordinate amount of time, Anthony, I really believe, and he doesn't pick Cleveland, I do think that there's going to be some really ill-willed feelings
I think it'd be
there.
devastating. I mean, honestly, I think it'd be devastating, just judging by how people have talked about this team since they've been eliminated. If LeBron James does not come to Cleveland and their offseason is you're just losing players, like, granted, Keon Ellis and whoever else, Dean Wade.
Dean Wade's a loss.
I think people are going to be absolutely devastated, and I don't know how they get people juiced up for tickets next year.
The longer it takes for him to make the decision, is there the more pressure on him to pick Cleveland? 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, about last night at 7:45 on The Fan.
This is an Odyssey.
told that his agent, Rich Paul, is doing all the background work. He's talking with teams, and then in return, he will relay all the intel and data to LeBron James, in which LeBron will make a decision. So there will be no meetings, no pitches that will allow for teams to sit down with LeBron. LeBron will make his decision based off of the intel that he's receiving from his agent, Rich Paul.
That's Chris Haynes on the Association on NBA TV. About last night coming up in 45 minutes, where people are just ripping Team USA. In fact, some people were apparently rooting against Team USA.
Who would do such a thing?
We'll find out more coming up at 7:45. 216-474-0092. So this is setting up where it has to be Cleveland or retirement. If he's going to take this long, because like you heard, Golden State's in the mix. Who are some of the other teams in the mix? Golden State, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. That's what I'm hearing, right? Those teams never had him. So if you've never had him, it's a big deal.
And you can just go back to continuing to hate him if you've already hated him.
And you just go right on back to how you felt about him before. Miami, I don't think he's that, like, Dwayne Wade, I think, is that guy. I think he's really well liked in Miami. I don't think he's beloved in Miami. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I know a lot of people in Miami, they don't seem to say a lot of things about him. Here, 9 out of 10 Cavs fans are telling you that this thing has to be changed around before this season. He is the way that they would change things around. We try to talk the Giannis thing. Giannis was a non-starter here. The Jaylen Brown conversation really was a non-starter just because they didn't want to get rid of Evan Mobley, and they won't do that. So now here's your chance. And if he takes an inordinate amount of time and decides to not choose Cleveland, you use the term devastating.
Yeah, well, devastated because it already feels to a lot of Cavs fans that they've got no shot to win a championship as constituted. We saw what happened against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was a team that had run out of gas, way too reliant on James Harden at 36 years old, who played the most minutes on the team. Like, that shows you where we thought the roster was going into and then what was reality. And then, because of the cap situation, you get squeezed out of 2 role players. One of those role players was a starter in Dean Wade. It's not like you have a bunch of cap space. We're still waiting on the James Harden situation anyway and the restructure. But overall, how does the team present, a real plan about how they're going forward? Well, it made sense. Like, hey, massive upgrade, LeBron James. And then if you get LeBron, who else do you get? And if you don't get LeBron, it's like, what are we doing going into next year? We're just going to rely on James Harden and Donovan Mitchell again and pray that Evan Mobley makes another leap or jump or whatever you want to call it.
Do you think that, so it's not just the devastating thing, which I think you have a point there. Do you think that people will lose patience with LeBron over the next couple of weeks? Because some people said, like, oh my gosh, this thing might not be done until August. It's like, well, you got to get going here, man.
We've been annoyed by LeBron before. Look, we were devastated when he left the first time. He made up for it by coming back and then helping assemble a championship team, and then a team that won the title. And oh, by the way, you got to the NBA Finals 4 straight years. You'll probably never do that in any of the teams in town. You'll never get to 4 straight. Whether it's the Super Bowl, whether it's the World Series, that'll just never happen again. So it was unparalleled success and achievement and a championship breakthrough. So to me, that completely negated him leaving the first time around. And then he left again, and it was like, yeah, but he won the title. Whatever. Some people were really mad. I was not. So would I be to set that up? The whole thing I was saying was we've been annoyed by LeBron before. We'll be annoyed by him again. But in the end, this is just a year, 2 years max, and then we'll put up a statue.
Well, I'm turning this into a deposition. I'm sorry. But do you think that Rick Bucher then had a point about the interest that's in LeBron? Because if he continues to stretch this out, like there might be a law of diminishing returns here. Because Rick Bucher said, like, hey, he's 41. Yeah. The interest in LeBron is not where it used to be as far as where NBA teams are concerned. I think that he has a point when it comes to GMs. I don't think he has a valid point when it comes to owners. I think any owner would pick him up because they know that that's a cash cow waiting to happen. But over the next, like, if he takes until August, if he were to take until, like, August 1, and that's a long time from now. I mean, it's only January, or it's only July 7th. Well, that's forever.
That hinders your ability to build the team.
Exactly.
Like, I know There have been a record amount of free agents that have not been signed because of this cap situation. It's why you're seeing guys like Kyle Kuzma and others around the league go, why did we do this again? Wait, we got incredible money from the national TV deal. I know local money took a hit, but we got this huge TV deal. And for what? For a bunch of free agents not to be able to get signed? Like, what did we do here? What was our CBA? This is terrible. So we're kind of at a standstill on a lot of this. And if you are waiting for LeBron and you're the Cavs, other teams don't have to wait. The Cavs kind of have to. We kind of are, in a way, held hostage by this because it was one of our only mechanisms to improve the team materially.
But what are we supposed to, like, I can't put a deadline on it.
No, I mean,
because I
just gotta
can't,
wait.
if I call him and say, all right, your deadline is July 16th. Okay, great.
Yeah, he'll just go somewhere else.
He'll just go, either that or he'll push you to the limit and he'll make his decision on July 17th. And what are you going to do? Are you going to say no? Like this is where it's becoming a little bit difficult, I think, for a Cavs fan here. Because if you have him, you're going to feel a lot better about your season. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are still ahead of you. West Coast and East Coast, if I'm adding it up. Now, not that many, but there's going to be teams that are ahead of you in terms of their championship odds. But if you don't have them, you know you don't have a chance. And I think that powerless feeling kind of reminds an old Cavs fan of the way they felt from the time he got drafted to the time he left the first time. Because that was a powerless feeling going, what are we going to do to be able to keep this guy? Now it's not about keeping him. He can't be around very, very much longer. But what are we going to do to bring him in? What can we do to bring him in? I mean, like the story that came out, and I forget which one it was because there's 1,000 different writers that are coming out with 1,000 different insider information. Not that none of them are true. There's just a lot to take in. And the one was he's waiting on one of these teams to make a move. What move am I supposed to make right now? What move with my four guys right there, with Mitchell, Harden, Mobley, and Allen, what move can I make that is necessitating LeBron saying yes? Like, I almost have to call Rich Paul, which he's the agent, and his company is the one that has the agency for a lot of players, so maybe that's not a far call to make or a far drive to take. Maybe I got to call Rich Paul and go, if I make this move, will this solidify the deal with LeBron? I mean, it just sounds nuts. It sounds nuts for a 41-year-old man, but also I have no other choice, guys. I have no other choice. I have no other choice but to sit here and deal with it, Anthony.
Yeah, but I guess maybe you could take comfort in the fact that a lot of other teams can't really make moves either. I mean, there's so many moves given the cap that there's not a lot of flexibility in turn. I mean, maybe there's some moves on the surface you could do afterwards, but it would involve, bringing in other teams. You have to get some cooperation. The reality is that, like, LeBron is going to make his decision. And listen, we were pretty, I'd say by the end of the weekend, we were pretty optimistic about all this. And then you saw another little wrinkle. Did you see who was the guest coach of the Summer League team?
Romeo Travis.
Romeo Travis. Did you see who LeBron was hanging out with in Akron?
Was it Romeo Travis?
Brandon Weems,
oh, okay.
like who could be the next GM of the Cavs. Like, if he just ends up picking the Cavs, we're all going to go, oh, this was out there in plain sight. I mean, he was getting nostalgic. He went and hung out with his former Cavs teammates for 10 years, talked about how great Cleveland was. Then he came back. Then he hung out with his high school teammates at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. And then, oh, by the way, the Cavs gave a job to Romeo Travis for the Summer League team. Like, there is a lot of stuff that is coming together at the same time to make it seem like this was right here in plain sight.
But you can't guarantee everything.
No guarantee.
I do think that there's two things that are working with you and working, and it can work one way or the other. I can't look at nostalgia and say that's the only reason for it. I think he spent the last 8 years as a business partner. I think to some level he feels a little bit disrespected because of the championship that they won that nobody really counts. So I think he feels disrespected. I think that I was amazed at the amount of people when I put him in that Laker category about where he stands with the Lakers last week, and people are going, Kenny, you're forgetting Elgin Baylor. And I'm like, guys, I thought Elgin Baylor was a great player, but I never got to see him, and I know he was a long, long time ago. LeBron is arguably the greatest of all time. And it's like, nope, you're forgetting Elgin Baylor. And then if you're mentioning head coaches, like you're forgetting Pat Riley, you're forgetting Phil. Like, oh, good God, are some of you going to put Del Harris ahead of him? I think that that's been a disrespect for him for the last 8 years. But I know I can't put nostalgia on it because that type of feeling he may have might just have a feeling going, there's going to be better teams that have a better chance to win a championship. Jaylen Brown going to Philadelphia changes their odds. Minnesota, obviously, is that conversation. Golden State, even though it might be the over-the-hill gang, it's going to be a really good over-the-hill gang there. So there's opportunities there to go. Now, I don't think Golden State has a better chance than we do, but I use these examples of going, I can't just sit there and tug at his heartstrings and think that's the only reason here. But damn it, I look at that lineup that would be around him as of right now, which I know you probably have to move on from one of these guys to make this work. But even if we're Jared Allen, Mitchell, Harden, Mobley, and LeBron James is a damn good lineup there. Damn good lineup.
It is, and they would absolutely be formidable. They would absolutely have a say as long as they're healthy. They'd have a say on who comes out of the East. They would. Ask any honest Knicks fan if they were better off, if they felt better off seeing either Dean Wade or Max Strus last year compared to LeBron. Like they would tell you, yeah, we'd have rather seen Dean Wade, Max Strus.
Coming up, I'm going to get to some of you guys. Would you ever run out of patience with LeBron on this decision? Is there a deadline you want to set, or is it just, hey, we got to leave this ball in his court? I wish you could use a better term. We have to leave the power up to him. Whatever he decides is whatever he decides. 216-474-0092. And, depending on your goals for this season, a ranking's either really, really good or really, really bad.
It's Anthony Lima for QC Kinetics.
92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. The best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Every Cavs conversation brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea that ask you to please enjoy that Surfside Hard Iced Tea responsibly. All right, I want to get to Joe and Avon here. Then we got to get to this ranking. Because depending on how you see the football season playing out, it could be a good ranking to you. Or horrible. Also about last night with some Un-Americans. Coming up at 7:45. Let me get to Joe and Avon. Joe, if LeBron continues to take his time on his decision, could you find yourself turning on LeBron, Joe?
I would not turn on him, no. But I think you have to understand what LeBron is. Everything he does is extremely calculated. When he came back the second time, that was as much for him as it was the city, for his legacy. So he definitely, LeBron is amazing. You're not going to turn your back on him.
I agree. Go ahead. What were we going to say there, Joe?
I'm sorry. My daughter was just walking in.
You're okay, buddy. You're okay.
Layla's on the air, too. But anyhow, definitely the fact that I don't think they had any interest in Jaylen Brown, only for the reason that I think they wanted LeBron. The tough part is, if he wins with them again, amazing. But how many times is LeBron going to come back? I wish they had thrown their hat in the ring for Jaylen Brown for a long-term answer. But no one's going to fault what they're doing. If they don't get him, then you're going to say, what do we do?
Well,
so I don't know. Kuminga, I don't know.
That's a deep, Joe. That's a real. You made this into a deep conversation here. I was going to take the call and answer the question and kind of move on to this ranking here, because so you brought up some old memories for me, and thank you very much for the call, Joe, and give my best to your family. I'll tell you this: there was a feeling that I had when LeBron left in 2018. I never thought he was coming back. It took me a long time to even believe he was going to come back. But I thought that we would never see a team like this ever again. A team like that ever again, a chance to win a championship. I thought that was out the window. Now, they've proved me wrong. This is a very good basketball team. And I feel much better about it, and I feel better about Cavs basketball moving forward. And I will say, as long as Dan Gilbert's the owner, he's willing to throw money around. I understand that he's not a perfect owner. No owner is, for crying out loud. Remember, owners aren't meant to be liked. But Dan Gilbert has proven time and time again he's willing to spend almost anything to win a championship, which is half the battle with a lot of these guys. You see what's going on over there in Portland right now. But now, when you have him back on this team, there will be challenges in the future of the hard cap. Now you have more on Kobe Altman that he has to do. But at least they proved it to me. If I can have him back, I still have confidence that if LeBron comes back and say he gives you 2 years, which we'll argue about that later on because there is the conversation about 1 year or 2 years with LeBron. But say he gives us 2 years. I do have confidence that given the ownership, if they have the right people as general manager, you can't keep Kobe Altman forever, and certainly he's fallible, that they could still put together a really great basketball team in the future that could compete for a championship again. I see this, this is 8 different champions over the last 8 years, Anthony. We keep bringing that up. I mean, they're more like the NFL than what the NFL is like when they claim to have their parity. I mean, this is something. So you can't tell me they can never build a winner without LeBron ever again. So I feel better about the chances of him coming back, or I feel better about him coming back. And it's not like, well, we either have to have LeBron or we never have a chance at this thing. I feel better about him coming back, and then I feel better about the afterwards. Even though there will be struggles, I feel better about the afterwards in the future after LeBron, Anthony.
Yeah, obviously, look, their future has to not involve LeBron James, which, this Donovan Mitchell era has been without LeBron James, and they've been pretty damn good in the regular season. They've had terrible flameouts in the postseason. They also got the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear right now they could use LeBron James, which is,
weird thing to say.
It's a weird thing to say.
They could use them instead of they have to have them in. We'll pull out all the stops no matter what.
Yeah. It's a swan song situation anyway, but it's a guy who's still playing at a very high level. I brought up the Kobe Bryant last year. They only won like 17 games that last year, and nobody cared. This, you could win and still have that documentary type season that we're going to remember forever. That's what I think is very, very cool about this situation.
The ESPN put out their rankings of the best lineups. These are starting lineups for all 32 NFL teams. Number 1, the LA Rams. Myles Garrett lined up as the edge rusher on the other end of Byron Young over there. They have Matt Stafford. They have Kyron Williams. Puka Nacua, as long as he can keep healthy and keep his head out of the clouds there. And they got a really good football team. That's number 1. Do you know where the Cleveland Browns finished in their rankings of the top starting lineups in all the NFL?
Well, I'm guessing it's not great.
It's not. It's 31st. They are only ahead of the Miami Dolphins.
Oh.
In terms of their lineup. It says biggest strength, the front 7. Even though they had lost Myles Garrett, they still bring back Jared Verse, this, that, and the other. You got Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger. Of course, you know what they say their biggest weakness is. It's quarterback. And Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, it doesn't seem like they have a very much amount of faith in either one. And then you get into the Dylan Gabriel, Taylor Green stuff, which doesn't really matter a whole lot. Their X factor is the offensive line. Certainly true. Non-starter to know, they wrote Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, which is certainly a very big one. It was a bit surprising, they said, when he fell to pick 58 in the second round. A natural box safety who will need to work on his coverage skills in the NFL, so expect him to play a linebacker-like role in a lot of these safety sets. That's from Aaron Schatz, if I'm not mistaken. So they're 31st. I want to know whether you take that as a good or a bad thing. I want to know whether or not people take that as a good or a bad thing. Because me as a person who wants to win, I don't take it as a very good thing. I always want to win until I reach a point where it's like, all right, I'm not going to be so upset that they lose. I'm not going to sit there and like, I blow blood vessels at times when they lose. Because they do things that are silly. They have done things that are silly and lazy at times. And I just can't stand it as a bunch of grown individuals. But you do reach a point where you can see your future happening, and you go, well, it ain't so bad. But there's plenty of people, they think that this quarterback conversation that we have almost every day, didn't have one yesterday. And right now, I'm not having one right now. That this quarterback conversation that we have nearly every day is a waste, and that they're already looking forward to 2027. If you see 31st, I want to know whether or not people think that that's a positive or a negative.
Yeah, I actually could spin this as a positive.
Spin it.
I could spin it as a positive because young teams lose in this league. Doesn't mean that there's not talent there. Young teams with talent, with young talent, they lose games because they aren't ready for the league. They haven't, been in the games. There are just other teams actually trying to win and making it their goal to go to the playoffs. And so you could have a team brimming with young talent that could still lose so many games, which to me could be the best of both worlds, where you have solid drafts, good drafts, maybe great drafts, but still lose a ton of games, and then you're put in position to get the quarterback that you would want to get, that aligns with that perfect storm, that right timing in what is supposed to be a big-time quarterback draft, and then that sets that quarterback up so much better the following year.
Well, this is my issue. I understand what you're saying, but one, you said you can spin it, which means that's not how you feel. You say you can spin it. When you admit that you can spin it, you're telling me that's not how you feel in your first rip.
Wait a second. What don't I feel? I mean, I do feel like
I think you're trying to spin it into a positive, but I think you feel dreadful about this, and I think I want to hear you tell me the truth.
It's not good for Todd Monken.
No, it's not. I think it's worse for Andrew Berry, to be honest with you.
Like the young, talented teams do lose a lot of games in the NFL. That is kind of how the league works, especially when you say goodbye to Myles Garrett. You're probably saying goodbye to Denzel Ward. I don't know what's going on with Grant Delpit. So the defense, which has been the one thing you knew was going to be consistent time and time again. Like their defense, you could tell me their defense is bottom 10 this year. I'd be like, oh, well, yeah, they don't have Myles Garrett and they traded Denzel Ward at some point. Like I could see that. I mean, Jared Verse could be really good, and there's really good players on all sorts of bad defenses.
I think that defense going into the season is just the biggest wild card ever.
It
wasn't like Myles Garrett was the most emotional leader, far from it, but they knew he was the best player. And a guy like that's going to make everybody's jobs easier. Now, Jared Verse is a really good football player. He's not Myles Garrett. It's going to make everybody's jobs a little bit more harder. But a guy who can make jobs real hard is Mike Rutenberg. Because we have seen firsthand what a person who has some common sense can do with a defense and what a person who just refuses to change their alignments can do against a defense. We have seen that with this generation of the Cleveland Browns. So as exciting as Mike Rutenberg, as excitable as he is, as fresh as he seems to be, I know he's 44, but it seems like a young 44, as exciting as that can be, I still got to keep him at arm's length because he's replacing a guy that was a fan favorite. And also, you can put people in the wrong place. But I have to make sure that that's going to be good. That being pointed out, like I'm a guy who wants to win, but I'm also trying to think about long-term stuff here. So if you just want a quarterback, if people just want a quarterback, hey, you should be looking at this going, yep, that's exactly where I want them to be. The young guys will play. They'll probably show a little bit of promise, but the thing ain't good right now, and maybe we'll find ourselves in a spot for a quarterback. But I think there's so much more to that. You mentioned Todd Monken. Todd Monken, whether I want to say it or not, and I hate talking about it, and I don't want to take it further than this, could end up being a one-and-done coach, and I don't want that to happen. 2, Andrew Berry, I think his last 2 drafts, we'll find out more about this year, but the last draft that he had was still very, very good, even though you got Dylan Gabriel there in the 3rd round, but we blame Kevin Stefanski on that. Are you going to finish the vision, whatever that is, with Andrew Berry at the end of this year? Like these things, if you bring in another GM, remember, they always think they got to reinvent the wheel when they get here. So now the players that we like and we think are young and exciting, maybe they'll think are real football players for you. And then you have a difference of opinion of quarterbacks. And if you're taking a quarterback, you're going to bring in a guy here who's been obviously has been doing his homework, but might have been doing his homework for another team, or like in John Dorsey's case, was on the beach doing his homework. Like there's a lot that plays into that. I don't think continuity is the only reason to keep Andrew Berry employed, but it doesn't make me feel good when they're 31st going into a season, according to one big website.
Well, not to mention, just
and this is ESPN.
Just you could talk about the optimism you have for a lot of young players, but it does suck to lose week in and week out. Even if guys are shining, guys are making plays, and it's just the other teams are flat out better, more experienced, you just are still going to run into that.
It's not a great schedule, though,
with
with
losses
teams
racking up.
I should say they're not good football teams. There's a lot of not good football teams you're playing that don't have a lot of experience.
Sure. And obviously, they circle the Browns when they get a chance to play you.
I understand that, but if you have some smart football players on your team, you might be able to win a few. So rankings are rankings. I get that, but 31st. That's really, really bad. I mean, that's a flat-out that could be seen as a flat-out disrespect or the cold, honest truth, depending on how you see it.
It's both, right? It is.
It's
both.
A disrespectful truth. It's basically what you make it out to be. But I don't want to turn it into a good thing. I just want to look at it in terms of you're 31st. You're only ahead of Miami. Which Miami, I mean...
Well, everyone says it's just tanking.
Well, do we want to reevaluate the Malik Willis arguments that we used to have day in and day out at the end of the football season last year, considering they're worse off than we are, and they're the ones that signed Malik Willis, and apparently he wasn't even going to give us a meeting at the end of all this?
I think the Malik Willis was just a dart. They threw the dart. They if he ends up being really good, then it's a coup. If he's just on a bad football team and he's a bad quarterback, then... where are they going to be positioned?
And, and if he works out, great. If not, he doesn't work out, fine. Like, so when I have the 31st, because they have the projected starters, by the way, Deshaun Watson is listed as the projected starter at quarterback. Does any of that change with Shedeur Sanders?
No, they probably think he's
worse. Because it might be well, they probably do. But I'm saying, is it any bit of a sunnier disposition? Or is this an argument to me against Deshaun Watson to even start going, hey, if you're 31st,
if you're bad anyway?
And if Shedeur Sanders isn't going to make that big of a difference to your overall rankings of what it is, then what the hell are we latching on to with this guy who all he does is remind us of bad football?
Yeah, I think that's probably the thought. But you got to remember just how, especially these people who look at the analytics and where did they see, Shedeur Sanders last year? They saw him as an all-time bad rookie quarterback. They're not as excited about some of the nice plays that we're excited about.
I mean,
they're just writing him off. They're saying a fifth-round pick that has that rookie year on a bad team that's going to be even worse next year in their minds
I don't understand why they need to. I don't understand why they need to just write him off. I mean, there is a conversation to have about him being a starter. Now, that pointed out, how high end of a starter can he be? I'm not sure. I mean, the people that I respect, they're really looking at him right now as saying, well, he's a guy who can start, but he's more of a high-end replacement quarterback.
Yeah.
Which is if you're coming from the 5th round, that's fantastic. But you're
that's a good story.
But you're dealing with a lot of people who thought he should have been drafted much higher than that. And in fact, we got to admit, we were surprised that he fell to day 3 for crying out loud there. So there is a lot to argue about with Shedeur. But I see some of this and I go, well, then why are we even arguing about Deshaun Watson if we're going to be 31st no matter what? What the hell are we even doing with this other guy other than I guess he counts against the cap? And I guess he'd be too much of a hit to cut, so I guess we might as well hold on and see what he has. But that's not a great argument to play him.
We got the humongous cap savings thanks to the insurance play.
Can you make sense of that? Because if Jack Duffin is looking at this going, man, this is in a different language here, then what the hell are you supposed to do?
I was wrong. I thought for sure that they were going to look at it and go, nah, he probably could have played the end of last year. You guys held him out. You're not going to get that insurance money. No, apparently they did.
Whoa, wait a minute. You could work out and still not be able to play. There's plenty of guys who go through workouts and they're not able to play.
Oh, yeah. But how could you prove the inverse, right? Like, how can you? Couldn't every team just say, nope, can't play, insurance, let's collect?
But you got to go with the player. If the player can't play, then how am I supposed to take him to court and accuse him of lying about his own health?
That's what I mean. You would think this is like a way around the salary cap, that all teams would just be buying these insurance policies.
I think a lot of them do. They just don't have guys who miss entire seasons after they sign these guaranteed contracts because of injuries.
Yeah.
So a lot of them probably do. They just never have to exercise it because the guys end up playing. Because if you're still able to play, but you play poorly, you get nothing back. He was able to play and play poorly until he wasn't. So you get something back. I don't know how much you're going to be able to help yourself with it.
I saw some national people were like, this is insurance fraud. And I'm like, what did we get out of it? It's insurance fraud done poorly then. Because what did we get out of the whole experience? You're supposed to gain from it.
He wasn't able to play. How was it fraud?
Well, because they saw him at the end of that year looking like he probably could have played. And then the other mysterious injury.
That's interesting.
Remember the mysterious injury that we were told it wasn't in Berea, it was down in Florida, it was rehabbing, but he got injured again.
We got another surgery.
Yeah, I know. But it was like, how did he get injured? Did he get injured, work it out, or did he get injured hanging out? There's a big difference.
Well, all right, we'll get back to that. Coming up in 5 minutes. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I thought this was America. It's About Last Night in 5 on the Fan.
it had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
How it is when you win in Cleveland, man. They love you. When you lose, whew, it's the way it should be.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. He couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
That sounds really good, but I'm not 6'5", and I don't have the athletic ability to play in the NBA.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Team USA is out of the World Cup with a 4-1 loss to Belgium. Utter shellacking, in my opinion. Pulisic was terrible. They played with no energy. The game was over after the first 5 minutes. But the thing that bothers me the most is people went to Twitter and they were talking about, this is Americans, by the way, talking about how they were rooting for Belgium. I don't care what your politics are. These guys aren't political figures. You root for your sports team. You root for the team where you're from. I don't understand what this whole mess is about.
I agree with you.
So who are these people?
Just they're randos, pretty much.
I think it's political because the president said that he had called FIFA. It's political. Let's call it what it is.
So that made them look like what kind of allegiance did they really have?
Belgium tonight.
Yeah, how big? How could you go from like, oh, I'm a diehard fan, but now I'm rooting against them because of the president? Like that. That just seems like people looking for attention that probably never cared about
it's social media. That's where people go to look for their attention.
But that's what I mean, John. Is this worthy of a story when you could find people to say the earth is flat and then quote Kyrie Irving? Like, is it?
I was about to say there was actually somebody else in that chair at one point who claimed that.
Is it really worth it to bring that to our attention?
I think so. I think it is because, like, it needs to stop here. Like, we're such a polarizing country, but it needs to stop with sports. It's why I got into the sports business, why I got out of the conservative radio business.
Interesting, John.
Now, you used to be a conservative flamethrower. So
I remember that.
Coming from the tree farm, right into politics.
He was.
So I accused.
See the forest for him.
Now he can.
That was the whole thing. George Washington chopped down the cherry tree, and he chopped down the Christmas tree. Both received beatings for it.
I'll go do your thing now, Lima.
I accused many people in town of rooting against the Cavs because of their James Harden hate. And I got to tell you, those people really haven't beaten the rap since then. Kind of seems like there were people rooting against the Cavs.
So what about the people who were rooting against Team USA last night?
That to me just seems like they weren't really fans of the sport to begin with. They were like, I know this happens always with the Olympics too. There are people that the decadence, gratuitous nature of Americana, we are rooting against. It's like, okay, good. You're trying to get a following on social media. Great. I don't really take it all that seriously.
Like
it's a grift. It's always a grift.
I like that opinion. The decadence of America. Yeah. I'm sorry. In fact, I'm not sorry. We are a decadent nation.
Brad Stevens spoke to the media yesterday for the first time since the Jaylen Brown trade. And here's what he had to say.
The unbelievable way we've played in the regular season in the last couple years. The path looked a little bit more challenging to me. I might be wrong. I'm not going to stand up here and be defensive about that. But the path looked a little bit more challenging with 70% of our cap and such a high percent of our usage tied into two players. The reality in this era and in this day and age of the NBA, and you could see it with the last couple of champions and some of the teams that were at the very top of the league when it was all said and done at the end of this year, is that you have to do a great job and you have to have the optionality to do a great job of building out depth that can hopefully replace the irreplaceable individual.
You guys know that when the Celtics traded into the Sixers and the Celtics traded Jaylen Brown, I said that this was going to be a win for the Celtics, and everybody else said the exact opposite. I think the Celtics know exactly what they're doing. They dumped Jaylen Brown at the right time. I think the analytics say that he's wrong.
Had he been traded to anywhere else, would you have this feeling?
No.
Thank you.
No, because
John is from Philadelphia, and John hates the Sixers. He hates the Sixers. He has no faith in them. He's as bitter as the most bitter Browns fan you ever met.
No.
Yes. If you were traded to the Cavs, you called them the biggest loser ever.
If you would let me finish.
Oh, excuse me.
First of all, whenever the Sixers make trades with the Celtics, it never works out. The Sixers basically
doesn't mean this one can't work out.
Basically traded Jason Tatum to the Celtics for Markelle Fultz. So I don't want to hear that. But also, it's because of the fact they're dumping the salary. The Sixers are going to have to pay 96% of their salary to Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey and fill out the rest of the rotation with vet minimums, and they're not going to be able to do anything with VJ Edgecombe.
But again, you just admitted had he been traded to anywhere else, you wouldn't feel this way.
Yeah, because the Sixers front office is absolutely incompetent. I don't care if they have a new GM.
It's a new front office.
Care.
It's Mike Gansey.
I don't care if it's a new GM or a new front office.
So just because they go to Philly, it's bad.
It's Josh Harris.
Bob Myers is helping out.
Josh Harris is an absolutely horrendous owner.
Every family member that I've been to at a family gathering, I'm just like, get me out of this conversation, please.
It is pretty incredible that you are penalized for having good players and for even drafting and nurturing good players in the NBA under this format. The fact that if you have 2 max players, and Brad hit on this, it's going to take up 70% of their cap, why wouldn't we do something to make sure that there's like an acceptance of, hey, we brought these players up. This isn't about a super team, because that's what they were trying to end, the super team era. They didn't like the players just all conspiring behind the scenes. So they put in this very penal cap, and now you have to get rid of good players. And yeah, the Cavs, when Donovan Mitchell makes close to $70 million and Evan Mobley is making max money, it really, really is restrictive on what you can do.
Now, does this trade make you more or less willing to trade Donovan? Because at this point, the Cavs probably have 2 more years left to compete.
So here's
for a
the problem with that question. I've heard a lot of people say that, but you just saw what the return was for Jaylen Brown. What do you think the return is going to be for Donovan Mitchell, who's not a two-way wing?
Not great.
Who is not a finals MVP.
Not great.
And who's not, this year he was an MVP candidate. And, Donovan has been that in the past, but I don't see Donovan becoming that really again.
Because of the new CBA, did we get fleeced in our trade for Donovan?
Honestly, it's worthwhile. If they would have known this cap was going to make this kind of an alteration, what would they have done?
I think they might not have made that move. Donovan's a great player. Well, maybe they still would have.
See, this is what I mean. I'm surprised the NBA there hasn't been more of a criticism of this, because they went too far, and I think it's pretty evident that they've gone too far.
Well, guys all said that the league was dying. Well, they resuscitated the league.
That's it for About Last Night.
Outstanding, John. We learned a lot about each other in that segment. Coming up here in a little bit, I'm sure it could help the Browns, but it's not something to celebrate. Coming up in 5 minutes, the song Yeah, the song My Boo, the song Climax. I'm not sure about these songs, but Lima knows them. Of course, he might not get to listen to them all. Confused? You won't be in 5 minutes on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman.
all the best segments from all our shows and can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Is it Connie time? Time for Connie. Give her away, Tone.
Got a good one right now. 92.3 The Fan looking for a winner. Enter the code word BLUE, B-L-U-E, 923thefan.com. Before 9 a.m., your chance to win a $50 gift card to Blue Falls Car Wash. We're this week only. Free washes at Blue Falls Car Wash North Canton location only. It's brought to you by Blue Falls Car Wash and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Would you take LeBron back if it hadn't meant you had to make a deal with the devil? That coming up here momentarily.
I thought we already did that to win the championship.
Oh no.
Is that what people say? That's the only reason we have a championship to begin with?
It's a different deal with the devil. One time I got loaded with Liz, and this is back when we were dating, and I called up my parents. I pranked my parents, and my dad answers the phone. He's like, hello. This is obviously when my mom's still alive. He goes, hello. I'm like, is Debbie there? And he goes, who? I go, Debbie. Well, she's asleep. Who is this? I said, this is the devil.
Beelzebub.
She goes, who? Dad goes, who? And I go, the devil. He goes, no, she's in bed. I'll leave a message at your call.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
He didn't care. He didn't know it was me. He didn't care. It was like 2 a.m.
Wasn't the devil's time.
No. He always responded. You never could get my dad with fake prank calls in the middle of the night. Like my buddy Matt, we had a falling out at one point. We're good buddies now. They're typical high school stuff.
You've recovered.
Yeah, Matt called up drunk as hell in the middle of the night one time, saying he wanted me to meet me out in the driveway. He wanted to fight me. And my dad answers the phone, and I can hear him in the other room going, this is Ken Sr., not Junior. Junior is sleeping. And Matt kept egging it on, going, I know this is you, and calling me a so-and-so. And then he hangs up there. He goes, Matt, you're drunk. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And hangs up the phone. And my dad just goes, hey, Matt wants to fight you in the driveway in 5 minutes if you're interested. And then just goes to bed.
So
he was unflappable.
This generation's going to miss out on this completely.
Without
the landline.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have that landline waking up the house at all hours.
The landline prank calls.
And then when
I used to get my buddy's dad threatening me. They had no idea.
This
Gosh,
ends
it was
now.
so good.
And then it was always, I'm calling the police.
It was so good. They never offered to call. My buddy Jake, his dad, he was like, meet me.
Yeah, we'll settle this.
And I just kept going, well, we don't have to do that. We can do this over the phone. No, you said you wanted to fight me. You fight me. Mark Groschmidt, man. Hell of a man. He's missed every day. One of the greatest Browns fans ever met. More on the Browns coming up in a bit. They ain't going anywhere. Lima's going somewhere. He's actually going to the stadium tonight.
I am.
But there's a question. So this is part of the I didn't realize we're having a whole year extravaganza. This is like the ESPN 30 for 30 year, but now it's become the Sarah 40th birthday extravaganza.
Still going.
Year.
We had the Newport trip. We had.
Is this the last event? Is this the coup de grace, or is there more?
It better be, because I'm out of money.
So Lima's going to Chris Brown and Usher tonight with his wife, and they've moved the whole concert, or just the one part of the concert?
Everything. Hour and a half back.
It starts at 8:30. Why did they do that? Weather? Was it weather?
They keep saying there's all these events downtown, and we can't find another event downtown that would be different
Guardians
from a normal...
are away. The Cavs are out. We don't have the WNBA yet. The Monsters aren't playing.
There's no huge convention.
No World Cup.
Yeah, there's Playhouse Square stuff, but they're always
That's on the other side of downtown.
Right.
It's over here.
And they're talking about road closures.
Well, there are a lot of road closures.
They're treating it like a Browns game. And it is, I guess it's sold big time. It's even doing better than the Post Malone concert.
Good.
So
Lima
but
has...
that's normal. What changed is what I don't understand.
So they moved it back an hour and a half. Lima obviously wakes up early. You better set your alarm this time, buddy boy.
Yeah, I missed it this morning.
That's good that you naturally found that way. It's a shame John hasn't yet. So you naturally were still able to wake up, but tomorrow's going to be a tough one.
Oh, yeah.
8:30, early wake up, have to do the show, and then we're going golfing with Extend tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be on no sleep. You're going to be on fumes.
Yeah.
Your question was, you immediately texted Owen and I, can I leave early?
Yeah, so she already is getting anxiety about this because
it's her.
This is really late for her.
It's Sarah Ono.
She routinely is in bed at 9, just after 9 because she's got to deal with. We got some sleep regression going on with poor Izzy. Mason's fine, just sleeps through the night.
Always a sleep
but
regression.
this comes back to haunt her more than it haunts me at this age. And I have to get up for work, whatever. I'm used to it. I'm used to getting no sleep and being able to go in. You're used to getting no sleep. Owen's used to getting no sleep. We've just been doing this for enough time that it really doesn't bother us.
You're going to have mornings like that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be fine. But and this is her birthday gift, and she loves Chris Brown. I guess they alternate. I'm more of the Usher part of this, but they alternate. It's not just one goes on. I guess that's what, according to some Reddit threads, so we know we're going to get to see both together. Of them. Yeah, we know we're going to get to see both of them.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, we're going to have to pull the plug at some point. I mean, she is not going to want to be up till 1.
How long are they on stage together? Springsteen's out there for 4 hours. They're not going to be out there for 4 hours.
No, I don't think they can do 4 hours.
What are they going to do?
But here's the other thing.
How many versions of Yeah can you do?
All these shows are routinely late anyway. Are they going to be even later appearing on stage?
That's a fair point.
I mean, Lil Wayne didn't even show up at his last one. He just didn't show at all. I think a concert up in the Northeast.
Did you go to a Lil Wayne concert
back
before?
in the day? Yeah,
I never knew that.
Oh yeah.
So how late is Lima supposed to stay? I think if you're at a concert, you're at a concert. You got to see the whole deal. You got to see the encore.
Right now is that you want to see one and she wants to see the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume you're driving together, right?
Mm-hmm.
She wants to see Usher, and you want to see Chris Brown, or is it the other way around?
Flip that.
I want to see Usher more, and like Chris Brown. I know 20 of his songs.
Right.
Probably more.
A lot of club time for you, right?
Is he going to be doing new stuff, though?
I don't know. I think they all sneak in 1 or 2 new ones.
That's where it needs to end. I don't need to see new Usher or new Chris Brown.
Okay.
But there are people that are listening to that every day, and they want to hear that new stuff.
I haven't been to a concert in a long, long time, and I haven't. And when I went to concerts, I only went to the ones I really like. There were times I'd be in Kent and a Screamo band would end up at Eurogyro. And it's all right, let's have some fun. That's one thing. I'm talking about a concert, let's go to Blossom, this, that, and the other. I stayed for the whole thing. I wanted to see Motley Crue. I saw Motley Crue, and I saw the whole damn deal.
Well,
and the same thing with Tom Petty, et cetera, et cetera.
And in this case, too, it's a birthday gift for Sarah.
Uh-huh.
This is as much money as I've ever spent.
Oh my God.
On any singular event. I did go. I remember I went to the NBA final. I paid for NBA Finals tickets down in Miami. LeBron's last game there against San Antonio. I paid more for that, but that was face value, but still more. This was and this isn't even we've got a good setup. There are people that paid twice what I paid to go down to the field, right in front. I don't know where people... Oh,
yeah, they got those.
I don't know where people got quite literally thousands of dollars a ticket. I know we have wealthy people.
I'm not surprised by that.
But holy cow.
There are people who... I made the joke. LFO has obsessive fans. Every musical act has that's made any sort of deal has had obsessive fans.
They doing the meet and greet for LFO?
Well, you can't meet with all of them. One passed away.
No, not anymore.
You understand what I'm saying here. Every ABBA had obsessive fans. So if they have obsessive fans, yeah, Chris Brown and Usher sure as hell have obsessive fans, that's for sure. Riley in Cleveland, what's Tone supposed to do, Riley?
Hey, I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. Tone, you're going to the concert tonight with your wife?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you want to do that. Do you know the kind of things that go on at these concerts?
I have seen some videos of some, let's just say, well-endowed, beautiful women invited on stage.
That's kind of PG from what's really going to be going on tonight. So I just want to make you fully aware of your actions.
Really? I didn't know this goes on.
Oh, man. You might just be 1 or 10 guys in there. It's going to be all ladies.
Now, Riley, this isn't R. Kelly back in the day. Come on.
They're 2 baby R. Kellys, pretty much.
Hold on.
Mine is the controversy.
I was about to
hold
say.
on. Chris Brown had some controversy.
There's some controversy with him, but
yeah. But right. I just want to make you aware. That's it. I'm going, guys.
Right.
Riley, thank you for the call.
I will tally. I'll let you know how out of place I am. I'll be texting you during the show. I'll be sneaking some photos.
Okay, so one, you don't have to be a female to like their music, right?
Well, especially because like Chris Brown was club music, and then Usher sang on some club.
So I will admit wholeheartedly, I was a huge R. Kelly fan back in the day.
Oh yeah, you and I both.
I've told you guys the stories about the HD Net concerts that we ordered. I had the CDs. I was a huge R. Kelly fan back in the day.
Yeah, and if you were in the warehouse district back in the day,
so I'm not a fan of all the other stuff he's been convicted of, obviously, but yeah.
If you were going out to the clubs back in the day, like you'd be hearing this music.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was just...
These guys are in their 50s now, right?
Yeah, Usher. Well,
Usher's definitely got to be in his 50s.
I thought Usher was probably a couple years older than me.
So okay, Riley's right. There's gonna be a lot of ladies there.
Usher is 47.
Okay, Usher's 47. How old's Chris Brown? Probably isn't that old, actually. He seemed to be probably just around our age, didn't he?
Chris Brown is 37.
Chris Brown's only 37. Holy potatoes! All right, so
who's a better dancer?
I have no idea. You can leave. Do you want it? Is there a song you have to hear them sing?
No, yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I know every Usher song, so everything's going to be a hit from Usher. Chris Brown has like 10 albums. There's a ton of stuff I wouldn't know from him.
I think Midnight is where you have to cap it.
Midnight?
If you want to do it that way. That's 3.5 hours. I mean, for the love of God, if they can't get it all in 3.5 hours, what...
Yeah, then the race to get home.
They just got to go on stage on time.
That they're going to do what? An hour and a half, an hour? What are we thinking they're each doing?
Apparently they're mixed together, so you're going to get a whole bunch, and there's going to be duets and all that other stuff. Owen's already annoyed by how long this could take.
No, I mean, I went to a concert down there, and it's a completely different concert. But Zach Bryan, we went there. It was on a Saturday, and it...
Was that an all day?
I didn't get home till 2:30, 2:40.
All right, well, that's
that late.
This could be
part
a disaster.
of it was traffic trying to get out of there, too.
Sure you want to go?
I mean, for what I spent on these tickets?
Honestly...
Why didn't you just take tomorrow off?
It just, I don't know.
Are you guys back in charge of the kids in the morning?
Maybe I was tipped off till LeBron watched. I didn't know.
As soon as the concert is over, as soon as you're back home, are you back in charge of the kids, or the kids sleeping at Grandma and Grandpa's?
No, they're sleeping. Mother-in-law is going to be there.
Yeah, so maybe you should see if you can get a hotel.
That's incredible.
A hotel?
That's a good idea. Or you guys can just sleep in here. In the studio.
Come back here?
I mean, you're good. John sits in here with the lights off until Ken gets in.
That's when he shows.
Okay, that might be a little bit too much you're sharing with everybody. Just needs to set the damn alarm, and more than one alarm is what I'm saying. Well, okay. So you worked today just because, or you worked this week just because you thought LeBron could be coming back and you wanted to be on the air? You wanted to do it again. You want to run it back, didn't you? You want to run 2014 back.
I was told this could be a big week, and we still think it could be a big week.
Don't you think LeBron's going to be at this concert tonight?
Well, that's the other thing. Okay, so he's still in town, and he was watching the soccer last night, at least, if you believe his social media. LeBron likes to get in on all these things. Right. You're right. Could LeBron, actually show up? Could he make the announcement tonight at the concert?
Oh, now you have to stay to the end.
Oh, see?
If he brought him out for an encore and LeBron announced he was coming back to
and then
Cleveland,
I already left.
And you
I left an hour earlier.
If you hear whispers of a LeBron core.
I don't even think you're returning to the house. I think you're just going to stay at either Owen's couch or my couch, one of the two. Because that's the end of the marriage. Because you'd be upset.
LeBron James, according to AI, is a major supporter of both artists, famously declaring Chris Brown the GOAT of our generation and drawing comparisons between the longevity of their careers.
Lima, do you want LeBron back?
Yeah, I'd take him, Kenny.
Owen, do you want LeBron back?
Yeah, it sounds like a good basketball player.
John doesn't really count. He's not from here, but I'm going to ask him the question. Do you want LeBron to come back to Cleveland, John?
Get his ass back here.
All right, that's 4 out of 4. The next question would be, would you be willing to make a deal with the devil again to do it? Because somebody might have to come with him. Who? I'll tell you in 5 on the Fan.
I'm Kyle Wright. If you're dealing
4 goals allowed, the most by a U.S. team at the World Cup since 1990. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during this offseason by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
8:45, one of the dumbest ideas I've read on the internet, and that's saying something. Social media reactions on X are brought to you by
Shibe & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Matt says, gotta stay the whole time. It's her birthday and you spent big money. After what I've seen of this show, he's referencing Chris Brown and Usher. Baby Lima number 3 could be on the way.
And it's not going to be for me.
Well, Lima's fixed.
Yeah.
So it'll be a difficult task, but God willing, we'll see. You were showing me videos during the break. That is something.
It gets a little spicy. They're on stage.
That is a very spicy meatball going up on the stage right there. That was some sensual stuff. Sensual. All right.
Looked like handcuffs were involved in a bed.
This whole room wants LeBron back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants LeBron back. Mm-hmm. Would you take Draymond Green back if it meant you could have LeBron back? Or would you take Draymond Green in the first place, I should say, if it meant you could have LeBron? Because this was thrown out on Kevin O'Connor's show. All right, here we go. Hit it.
I think it's worth wondering if Draymond Green could follow LeBron wherever he goes. I feel like a lot of people point to him opting out purely about Golden State having flexibility to sign LeBron, give him more money, also bring back Draymond on a discounted deal. And that might be all it is. If LeBron doesn't go to Golden State, Draymond re-signs in Golden State, and that's that. He teams back up with Stephen Curry and Steve Kerr, and they roll the ball out again next season with whatever roster they have. But Clay already left. Who's to say Draymond wouldn't leave either? He has talked openly about how he's understanding about how in this league anybody can be traded. He understands why the Warriors shopped him around for Giannis Antetokounmpo earlier in the year. It didn't happen. But you're telling me Draymond Green is going to sign a 2 or 3 year deal with Golden State with no trade clause, then 6 months from now possibly be moved somewhere that he doesn't want to go because the Warriors don't want to trade Jimmy Butler. They'd rather just deal Draymond instead. I feel like there's a possibility Draymond could decide to go wherever LeBron goes.
So he is one of the greatest villains in sports history here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Joakim Noah even made peace. It seems Draymond Green wants no part of peace with the city of Cleveland. In his eyes, he believes we cost him a championship. Correct or correct? That's correct.
Yeah, but it's weird because
fans hate him back.
Him and LeBron, that beef got squashed pretty quickly.
Well, they're friends. They're business partners.
And then they became friends and business partners.
Yeah.
So it was always very odd. Like those guys were heated rivals, and we thought could be the next huge rivalry. And then they said, no, we got to hug it out.
I'm not above burying hatchets. I mean, some of your best friendships from childhood, especially with guys. Yeah, you try to break each other's noses, and if you do that, fine. If you don't do that, there's a lot of respect I found growing up that you get from another person when you get in a fight with them. I'm not condoning it, but it seems to be the truth. Draymond Green and LeBron at one point obviously didn't get along. Now they do. There could be respect out of that. Both multiple-time champions, both great players. Obviously, LeBron's better, but Draymond Green, I think, was a second-round pick who ended up becoming a Hall of Famer. So I'm sure there's a mutual respect there. And again, they are business partners. That pointed out, he is still persona non grata in the city of Cleveland. So it is a legitimate question to ask people, because one of the things that have been brought up so many times is that you don't want the circus, quote unquote. Not you, but I'm talking about the people who don't want LeBron. They don't want to bring in the circus back to town. Whatever that circus is, they don't want it back to town. They've made the argument, no more drama. We don't need the drama. Having fights over Draymond Green might feel a little dramatic, does it not? Does that not play into the hands of a LeBron hater, a person who doesn't want LeBron? There's not that many of them. Or if there are, they've been quiet, and maybe they're waiting for him to choose somewhere else so they can go after us and say, I can't believe you guys licked this man's boots and he didn't come back, and now you have to tuck your tail between your legs, which you know that's going to happen if he picks somewhere else. We're going to catch a lot of hell over that. Fine. Is Draymond Green a bit too far Or it's like, hey, whatever, all hands on deck.
You know what's so funny? I'm looking at it more from just a basketball perspective than all that other stuff that you're focused on. And you're right. A lot of fans be like, what?
Because I don't think a lot of people know the basketball perspective.
So basketball-wise, I can tell you, like he is a shell of himself offensively when it comes to the guy can't make a layup. He has no jump shooting capabilities. He was always rough around the edges when it came to that. Still has great vision, can feed guys, and he will play his ass off. Like, that is something which everybody said we didn't have guys that could do that in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That is somebody who will sprint back on defense. That is somebody who, he's not arguing with officials, obviously. That is somebody who has the, quote, dog in him that everybody says our team doesn't have. But offensively, you do not have to guard him.
Boy, that's true. He doesn't. What he considers fools, he doesn't suffer them. And he will get, obviously, Jordan Poole found out, he will get physical.
Yeah, he will get in somebody's face. They don't have really any of those guys.
Is there a possibility, out of how many fans, out of 10 fans, I'd love to ask these sort of things, obviously, and I'm sure you and Keith text each other about it. Out of 10 fans, how many think the Cavs are quote-unquote soft?
9.
Let me go to the phones right now.
Might be 10.
I know they want to talk to you about Chris Brown. I got to do this quick. I'll put you guys back on hold. Maurice in the Bay Area listening on the free Odyssey app. Do you or do you not believe the Cavs are soft? Yes or no?
Yes, they are soft.
Okay, I'm going to put him on hold. Mike in Avon Lake. Do you feel that the Cavs are soft or not soft? Yes or no?
Soft.
Okay, Mike in Avon Lake says they're soft. Cliff in Aurora, congratulations on all your success. Cavs soft or not soft?
Soft.
All right, that's 3 in a row right there off the tippy top, right there on the things. Draymond Green is a lot of things. He ain't soft. Draymond Green can be a dangerous individual. He has fought on the floor. He has fought at Michigan State house parties. Is there a chance? Now, this is Galaxy Brain. Is there a chance he's just what the doctor ordered for this team? Think about it. Think about it for a moment. We love second chances in this country. Everybody, there were so many people. You saw the video of Joakim Noah walking around and going, okay, it's a good city, and hugging fans and shaking hands and things like that. And a lot of people buried the hatchet with Joakim Noah. Not everybody. It's not a perfect world, but a lot of people buried the hatchet there. What if Draymond Green, now hear me out on this. What if he comes with LeBron and he's exactly what Lima said? He's not the type of player that he used to be. He is stiff. He's beat up. The years have been tough on him. He's had to sacrifice a lot to get these teams, to help get these teams to championships. He is not the type of Steph or a lot of other players out there. There's a lot of things about Draymond I can respect because I think he's self-made. Put this out there. If he comes back here and he brings that edge, could you see him, dare I say, become a fan favorite? If LeBron can keep him in line, if LeBron can make sure that all that's there, if they go and they are in an NBA Finals, I can't guarantee they're going to win, but if they go to an NBA Finals and this team is no longer seen as soft, like, hey, you want to go ahead and you want to take little liberties on Donovan, you want to take liberties on James Harden, or in fact, if you even dare to come at LeBron, the man with the edge is coming off the bench.
Oh, yeah. No, he's not worried about technical fouls.
There is a little Marty McSorley to him to that, because he obviously doesn't care about technical fouls when he's angry. There's a dirtiness there, and I'm sure that every team that doesn't have him hates him, and I'm sure in Golden State they probably found ways to jump through several hoops, right? And I think we would. I have to ask that question. Could he actually be a good thing if LeBron were back? Because the whole argument was before, we can't just have LeBron back because there's too much drama. And you and I said, what drama? He's 41 years old. There's no drama him staying or leaving anymore. He's at the end of his career. Well, we don't want LeBron back for this reason, that reason, and all these other reasons. We don't want it to be a great big love thing of LeBron. Hey, this is a chance to change how he's seen. How do you think that we're talking about ending LeBron's career in Cleveland, doing it the right way? He's not beloved in some of these other cities, not beloved in Los Angeles. He's beloved here. This would be the right place for him to end his career, considering Golden State, if they didn't get him, they just move on. They never had him. Same with Minnesota, same with Philadelphia. All right, I'm saying a lot of words, but let me just put it down to it. Could LeBron help Draymond Green be a Cavalier, and could Cavs fans actually accept that? The general public.
Yeah,
I don't think they would at first. I think that they would be leery of him at first.
I think they would enjoy him in a lot of ways because they'd see a guy with passion on the court who is going to back down to nobody. and who's going to get in guys' faces. Like we asked if who's going to do that without Kenny Atkinson's not really that guy. Who's going to do it? Is it going to be the Cavs assistant coaches? No, Draymond will get into it. He'll get into it with Steph Curry. He doesn't care. That's kind of been the MO. He's got into it with Steve Kerr. Like, he has no problem doing that.
Okay.
Now, some people...
216-474-0092. Would you take Draymond Green back if it meant... Or would you take LeBron back? Everybody would take LeBron back. If you had to bring Draymond Green with him, is that too much? Or are you going, you know what, all hands on deck. Let's see it.
It does have the makings of
in
kind
for
of
a penny, in for a pound.
Honestly, kind of be a circus. Now, if you guys said the Cavs can't win the championship anyway, then why not enjoy LeBron's last season or two, and then, somebody who's on Inside the NBA, who's like a cast member.
That's what I'm saying.
Who's doing interviews, at shoot-arounds every day and making headlines. I mean, that would be entertaining. You guys cannot deny. Sports is supposed to be entertainment.
I'm hemming and hawing. I think I might.
There's only one team wins a championship every year.
Considering. Owen, would you have considered it before?
Probably not before.
Because he's hated.
Yeah.
He really is. And there's so many things that he
can't be the only move that's made, but it can be.
Yeah. But he can bring a very strong negative energy if you allow him to. Like that Jordan Poole thing got ugly.
Who are we moving off the roster?
Well, probably you're looking at moving on, Jared Allen's.
Because that's the guy I want him to come in and mentor and make him tougher. So
I think a lot of people, Owen, have said like Jared Allen is the first guy you move off of. But Jared Allen is
4 years now.
He's got great vibes. Now, he's not seen as the toughest guy out there. He's not a guy that's going to scare the bejesus out of a lot of teams. But he's still a guy that's a really good
bejesus scares.
Well, yeah, but he's a really good basketball player, too. Like, Jared Allen is the better player now instead of Draymond Green. Am I wrong? I mean, Draymond Green is, again, he's a shell of his former self. So as of right now, Jarrett is the better player. But I don't think you can keep all these guys around. You have to move on from somebody of that core four that you have. So Jarrett would probably be, again, the odd man out.
Yeah, I will say Draymond's got all the tricks. He still can get up for big games. Now, Jared Allen had some nice game sevens against Toronto and against Detroit.
He did.
Draymond has these moments where he dials it up and looks like in his prime Draymond.
Well, that's what makes it a difficult question.
It's just going to be few and far between. It's not going to be every game.
Well, that's what makes it a difficult question. Before, Jarrett was a fan favorite. Yeah. And now I think that he's gained so much respect because before it was like, well, he's a fan favorite, but if we have to move on, we're going to trade away Jared Allen. Now he's gained so much respect for some of the dirty work that he's had to do, some of the things that we don't always see. I think that we've given him plenty of recognition for a guy who plays way above his contract. I mean, you're getting a great savings for the output that Jared Allen gives you. And to just get rid of him and then to bring in Draymond Green, I don't think that's something that people are lining up for. But if it meant LeBron for the next year, possibly two, which is another conversation we'll get into later on, is that something you're willing to do? Because Draymond Green is a dangerous man. And people in the NBA know that they have to watch their P's and Q's on the floor when they're around Draymond Green. That might actually, hear me out, help spacing for James Harden, help spacing for Donovan Mitchell, for Evan Mobley, for LeBron. That's a possibility. Anthony and Aurora, you're first up on the Fan. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, how you doing today?
We're doing wonderful. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to have Draymond just to have him practice with Mobley just to toughen him up.
Well,
I like that.
As long as he doesn't sock him in the face in front of God and everybody, I think I'll be okay.
Well, you get one.
No, you can't. Did he break his jaw? I can't break in Evan Mobley's jaw.
Playful blows. You got to get him tougher. I'm sick and tired of watching Mobley and Allen get pushed on the foul line underneath the hoop. Someone's got to grow his backbone.
Well, Draymond's certainly not going to take that. You're right. Now, I can't ask for the minutes, though, Anthony, and thank you for the call. I don't think Anthony is really saying this, at least I hope not. You can't expect the minutes out of Draymond Green that you've got out of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. That's an impossibility at his age and the miles that are on him. But a guy who's coming off the bench possibly, like...
Yeah, he played 27 minutes a game last year.
Who, Draymond?
Draymond.
That's actually not too bad. I thought he was kind of in the teens. I'm surprised he was at 27. Again, I don't get to see a lot of Golden State, obviously. So I'm pointing out, you'd start him in a couple of games because it's just how the Cavs go. But he wouldn't be a starter. But I do think that he's a guy who can. I mean, you want an edge. You want an edge of nastiness there. They can't all be Boy Scouts, guys. They're a very likable group of guys, to the point that they're so likable that people have actually turned on them because they don't think they're tough enough to get to where they need to go, which I fought against that narrative. I fought against it, but when you get swept by the Knicks, I guess I have to be quiet about that. Draymond, he adds a certain level of dangerousness. He adds a certain level of, obviously, there's gravitas. He's a future Hall of Famer.
There's at no point would their season become boring.
No.
I don't care what their record was.
Boy, if he felt bored, he'd probably do something just because he's bored.
There'd be no malaise. This malaise we've had around the Cavs regular seasons.
I think that changes.
With LeBron here in what could be his final year, and then somebody like Draymond Green thrown to the mix.
If things go to hell, then he can make things far worse.
Yeah.
And not only people are going to be
volatile.
going, not only did you make this team worse, you brought Draymond Green here, and he made it far worse. Because there was a time, I didn't think there was ever a chance in hell Draymond Green would ever play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because I think you kicked it around a couple years ago about possibly trading for Draymond or something like that. And I thought he'd sooner retire than play here. So if this is a possibility, I'm open-minded to it. I'm going to get to a couple of you guys on this. And the biggest piece of NFL nonsense you're going to hear today, and it has nothing to do with Browns quarterbacks. Friends, Ken Carman here for Window Nation. WindowNation.com. The time to save is now. The time to bring down your energy bills is
know about the Cleveland Browns and the local sports scene. Get it at 923thefan.com/rules.
Multitask this summer with your smart speaker. Crank up the Cleveland sports scene. And when you say play 92.3 The Fan.
Coming up at 9, I think soccer's already found its place in America. We were just too busy fighting over it to notice. If this is true, what I'm about to read to you guys, Sean Payton might be the greatest football mind ever. Because clearly, he has zero room for common sense or reality other than the game of football, and that's it. It's either that or people are now just telling Seth Wickersham things just to see if he'll print it. Which is a possibility as well, because what I'm about to read to you is so fantastical. You are going to be shocked at what I read to you.
Well, so you got to let people know Seth was embedded, which
with the Patriots a long time.
No coaches would allow this. This is so interesting about how they approached all this. Seth was embedded during the playoffs, or I think from January 1st on, so the end of the season and the playoffs with the Patriots. And you just never see anything like that. These teams are so secretive.
Yeah.
That, like, he's the one coach. It feels like he is so at ease, so comfortable with him, his legacy, whatever. These coaches are petrified of letting anybody in on anything they do. Of course, the Browns also had a reporter embedded this year in the draft.
And they did that. They did that even after Chuck Klosterman did it.
Yeah. Which was a disaster.
Yes, he told everything, and it was disastrous. Now, that was a long time ago. These are different people, so they were willing to show it. So this story I'm about to read you, this craziness, this football conversation, the coverage of it on 92.3 The Fan is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi, one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity, imagine that. Tone, thank you very much for the assist here. So, courtesy of Seth Wickersham, quote, when Bill Belichick and the Patriots divorced in 2012, this is from Adam Schefter, when Bill Belichick and the Patriots divorced in 2024, Sean Payton considered presenting Broncos owner Greg Penner a proposal for the ages. Hire Belichick as head coach until he reached 15 wins, enough to break Don Shula's career record of 347. Gets better, guys. Payton would temporarily step down to assistant head coach and run the offense, then move back after Belichick became the all-time leader. In the end, it was too complicated and maybe too fanciful. Did Adam Schefter believe that as he wrote that? This is a real thing. It's his real account.
Yeah, he's got a lot of quotes from Sean Payton in this story.
This is insane.
It's definitely outside the box. Like, you don't hear this in the NFL.
It's absolutely nuts. And again, I say, they must be saying just anything to him. Because why on earth? These are proud men. You have to lead a team. How on earth are you supposed? Hey, I'm going to give a. Now, technically, this has kind of happened in the past. And oddly enough, it referred to Belichick. If you go back to the Jets, where Bill Parcells was going to hand over power, and Belichick was going to take over, and then Belichick decided he didn't want to be there anymore, and that whole mess. Like, this is kind of, sort of, was set to happen before. But I think everybody looks back on that going, man, that would have been an even bigger mess than what it was. Parcells handing over to Belichick, that whole thing, that would have been weird. This is insanity.
Yeah, massive egos.
I mean, if you were a football player for this team, that's nuts.
Right, you feel like, why are you guys, in your pursuit of this record, why are you compromising, just the bigger picture of who we are as a team? Why are you helping somebody else get the record?
Now, like, Payton is not going to approach the record. Payton is 62 years old. He has 184 wins, which ain't that bad. And before he had it, this was 20. He was going to step back. So you're telling me he was going to step back. So he would cost himself. He right now would have 24 extra wins. That is nuts. You've given up if you own the Denver Broncos and your head coach came to you, would you or would you not go, okay, and then turn around and go, we hire the right guy? We really gave up a first-round pick for this? That's what I'm saying, Tony. Like, he must have zero sense of anything else outside of football, because that is nuts. You're a person who's supposed to lead people. Part of your job is leadership. Now, I know it's a shared responsibility in the NFL. It's not like high school or anything like that.
There's delegation.
But you're handing over your franchise. They've given up a first-round pick for you. They gave up a first-round pick, right? We had fights over that. They've given up a first-round draft selection for you. You're going to bring in Bill Belichick and give him the key? Or does he get your office? Basically, like, I don't want to make comparisons, but I know what everybody's thinking of because we love to do that anymore. How on earth are you going to let another guy run your organization?
It would take a very secure coach to allow something like this.
I think it would take something silly.
And pretty clearly, Sean Payton respects Bill Belichick to such an extent that he would even entertain, if he really would entertain something like this. But how on earth
does he think that Bill Belichick, if he got his 15 wins, because again, he was kind of on his ass, and it kind of showed just how lost out of touch of reality he was when it came to drafting after Nick Caserio left and went down to Houston, and it really exposed him in so many ways and was the beginning of the end. I think it was more Caserio than it was Tom Brady. Either way, if Belichick did get 15 wins, Belichick's going to hand over power?
Do you think he talked to Belichick?
He's going to
check about this at any point?
There had to be a conversation, but I wouldn't trust Bill Belichick as far as I could. I wouldn't trust anybody as far as I could throw him. If I were the head coach of the Streetsboro Rockets, let alone the Denver Broncos, no.
I do have to say though, I'm a huge fan of
outside the box stuff, and this is outside the box.
I'm a huge fan of Sean Payton. Have been. Just for this guy, he is somebody who I think if he took over the Browns tomorrow, I'd have so much more confidence that the Browns would be.
Not after this story, I wouldn't.
Oh, really?
I don't. Who the hell?
What, you rather have Todd Monken than Sean Payton? Like, I would take Sean Payton tomorrow. I would trade draft capital to get him.
Hold on. No, I would not feel better after this story. It's not.
I would. I definitely would.
I know what you're doing. And I salute you for it. I'm not going to sit there and say I'd rather have Todd Monken, who's not won a single game as a head coach in the NFL, compared over Sean Payton. But I would
look
say
at what he's done with the Broncos in short order, who were supposedly in hell just a few years ago.
Okay, so if we have other records we have to break, what is Kevin Mack going to go out there then on a Sunday? Are we going to allow him to have a couple of snaps if there's a record that he needs to break? We might as well let everybody get a snap. We might as well let everybody have a chance to coach.
If it means that we can
Does Chuck Kyle have a win record that he still has to go after? Maybe we can let him call a game.
If it means restoring the Browns to prominence, I'd take Sean Payton
But
tomorrow.
That's not restoring the Browns to prominence. That's a joke. That's a carnival sideshow.
But I trust.
Had he become
the difference is I trust Sean Payton.
Had he became the head coach of the Browns, then would have just been led to more Browns dysfunction. You guys gave up a first-round pick for a guy who wanted to turn around and give the job to Bill Belichick for a set period of time.
I remember.
Oh, and by the way,
I got into a lot of debates with a lot of people, you included, about Sean Payton.
I was wrong.
And look at how quickly he turned 10-7, 14-3.
They're really good.
They were in cap hell.
They
were in player hell. Everybody was like, how is he going to do it? Bo Nix and then they went 14-3 last year.
Made a pretty big mistake in the AFC Championship game, but he was still in the AFC Championship game. So I'm not taking that. Again, I'm saying he's a good head coach. But that plan is so nonsensical. It takes away a lot of problems.
It's lunacy. If it were anybody else, I'd say it's the dumbest thing ever. But because of Sean Payton, I do trust him.
I think you'd say the same thing about Sean McVay. I think you'd say the same thing about Kyle Shanahan. I think you'd say the same thing about a lot of coaches you respect. But I would say it's insane to all those guys, and I would hope that they wouldn't do it. Remember, this is a guy who had Mac Jones as his quarterback and then made Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator.
You're talking about Belichick.
Yes. Yeah. And you wanted to put that guy in charge of your football team while you still call the offense, but you have Bo Nix. You're telling me Bill Belichick, the ultimate master of everything, who wants all the power in the world, is just going to let Sean Payton call the offense and never get involved, never get in the way? I find that to be completely asinine, and I can't believe Sean Payton would ever believe that he would.
I think Payton is so at ease with his place in football and so confident with his abilities that's how crazy, how unorthodox he's willing to go, that he's willing to blow up all the conventions of football and leadership to do something like this.
216-474-0092. All right, I'm going to get right back to you guys when we come back. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, and coming up, the fight is over. Soccer already found its place in America. It's coming up on The Fan.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Sponsored by Prevagen.
Odyssey app for all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
The best Guardians coverage is right here on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
I was ready for a fight, but it seems that we should be ready for a...
I present you a Connie. Win a 4-pack of lawn tickets to see your choice of John Mellencamp, Thomas Rhett, Chicago with Styx, or how about Billy Idol? Hello, Blossom Music Center. Enter the code word TOWN, TOWN. By the end of the hour, 93thefan.com. Register to win courtesy of Live Nation, where for a limited time you can buy 4 lawn tickets. There you go. To select Blossom shows, $99 at blossommusic.com.
Fun. That's not the contest word. That word again. Town, TOWN, town. You can go see all those things. That might be fun. You really So, by the way, there were several people. Let me explain this. I'm not letting Tone rope me in to the whole... I'm not letting him rope me into the Freddie Kitchens argument again. That's not happening twice.
What was the Freddie Kitchens?
Because you got me worked into a shoot years ago, and before the Browns' first game, I said I'd rather have Freddie Kitchens than Mike Vrabel.
But that was before, to be fair.
That was before
Diana Rossini.
Well, obviously, it was 7 years ago. And that was before they gave up actually only 18 accounted for penalties, but 20 total.
20 total.
And got
I don't know
smashed.
if we can prove that was before that.
You know what? That's a hell of a point. That's before we knew about her.
Yes.
That's a hell of a point. Which she and her husband are on a cruise.
You know what?
That's the one thing in sports I do know about.
Yeah.
Right now.
You know
their
what?
relationship, man.
Everybody has regrouped and recovered.
That's their relationship. I mean, you don't know. Maybe they're into that sort of thing. I have no idea. Or maybe he's just a very... And we don't know whether or not it happened. It seemed like there's awfully some things that might have happened. People have speculated. But if it did, maybe he's either into that sort of thing, which is fine. It's not my way I'd go about my business, but that's okay. Or maybe he's just a really forgiving person. If what is speculated actually happened. But yes, a long time ago, I did once say that I wanted Freddie Kitchens over, I would rather have Freddie Kitchens over Mike Vrabel. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever said on the radio. And you almost tried to hook me into saying that I wanted Todd Monken over Sean Payton. No. Todd Monken's never won a game. I knew what you were trying to do. And I know that, hey, I don't know how many games the Browns are going to win. I think that they can be a 6-win team. I'm just letting you know right now, I am not taking them against Jacksonville. And if I were a gambling man, I'm going to take Jacksonville in the points because it never starts off well for us.
What if Shador's starting?
Kevin was, I still am going to take Jacksonville in the points because it. Oh, what do we got? We got something.
We got some breaking Cavaliers news.
Oh, hey, whoa. All right, Shams Charania says the Cavaliers All-Star Donovan Mitchell has agreed to a 4-year, $273 million maximum contract extension that includes a player option for 2030-31 season and a full trade kicker. It's according to CAA's co-head of basketball, Austin Brown. He tells ESPN. That's the agent. That's good.
So a couple things here immediately.
Saves money for LeBron.
Well,
right?
A couple things here. So he could have waited and gotten, what was it, 70 million, 350 million total over the span of 5 years. So he took the shorter contract, but the guarantees put him on the board as opposed to playing it out a year. And then, if he gets injured, if he does something nasty to his knee, which is what these guys are always potentially thinking about, what would that do for their next potential contract or whatever? But there was some speculation on whether he was going to sweat it out for a year, and then that's uncomfortable for both parties, or whether he was going to lock in at the $68 million
Does that save money for LeBron?
Not really, because this doesn't kick in. I know there's the trade kicker, the player option for 2030, 31.
Yeah.
No, not really. Really, we're still focused on the James Harden situation because that's where there would be extra savings, that would kick in now for them to be able to sign LeBron, whether it's depending on the exception that's available.
Other than fearing on your own injury, which is if you don't want to gamble on yourself or bet on yourself, it's the amount of money you're getting paid is still an obscene amount of money. So it's a lot of money either way. So I don't blame him in signing it. But I'm asking, is this an attempt to put the cosmic tumblers into place to bring LeBron back? And if you're saying no, all right, is this anything? Why do it now other than just to make sure he's here on that contract? Or, God forbid, doesn't say anything about a no trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make him easier to trade to a destination he would want to then later on?
Yeah, remember though,
because there's a savings after this balloons.
As we just learned with the Jaylen Brown situation, these guys are not as valuable on these types of contracts in this current apron era of the CBA. So I think after that series ended against the Knicks, a lot of people were openly wondering, are we sure we want to pay him $68 to $70 million a year? Is that going to be something that really restricts our ability to build around him? But once they traded Darius Garland, we knew they were going all in on the window right now surrounding Donovan Mitchell. And according to all reports and according to everything we know is that it was going to be in tandem with Evan Mobley.
216-474-0092. So he has signed a extension. I do think that we've been very quick, a little bit too quick, maybe even borderline disrespectful to Donovan Mitchell, where
we have been. We've been totally disrespectful.
You agree with me?
100%.
So I felt that Evan Mobley was just someone that nobody wanted to touch, nobody wanted to really talk about, but all of a sudden Donovan Mitchell, who, if you would have said that you were willing to trade Donovan Mitchell on the radio in February, I think people would have showed up here with baseball bats and chased us around the studio. But then so many more people after the season, after they got swept by the Knicks, so many people were like, well, I don't really want to trade Evan Mobley, but damn, Donovan Mitchell, yeah, let's get him out of here. Daryl, I have no problem. Like, whoa, wait a minute. This whole thing's done for Donovan. The whole reason all these guys are here is Donovan. I don't think we should just be so quick to be moving off from Donovan just because, yes, he's approaching 30 or has approached 30. Yes, he is smaller when it comes to other players in the NBA. I don't know if he's able to. I don't believe he's able to do the same things as some of the other guys because, again, he's only a 6'2 guy, but he's still a 6'3 guy. He's still a really, really, really good basketball player, capable and worth of this money. So there should be a lot of respect put on him. But there were some very disrespectful things said over the last couple of weeks, and I wonder if we're going to start taking those back. Or if people are going to double down and say that this is just doubling down on a mistake.
It's so interesting, the difference in had Donovan Mitchell just been drafted here and we watched him come up as a kid and didn't have to trade all these assets to get him because he's been a model Cavalier. He's been awesome, not just in the community, because there's a lot of guys that either do that quietly or publicly that play sports for Cleveland teams. But he's been awesome in the community. He has been pretty much, as far as superstars go, especially in that league, he has been completely drama-free. He's had the monstrous playoff performances. I know that it was a little more of a roller coaster this year, but he was not alone. There were a lot of guys that had their ups and had their downs in the postseason. And I think if you watch the Knicks, there were guys with the Knicks that had ups and downs. Karl Anthony Towns, ups and downs.
You're right.
Jalen Brunson had a bunch of bad shooting nights in the finals. There were ups and downs. The thing was, we got further than we ever have, and yet I felt a lot of Cavs fans, the minute the season ended, said, we can't pay him. Doesn't make sense to go that high with that number.
Well, because it didn't seem that but I will say this. It didn't seem that he was going to sign it this year. It seemed like he was going to, a lot of things were telling you that he was going to wait until next year and then sign something in the neighborhood of $75 million a year, which is something that nobody really wants to pay him. Now, this contract seems to be obviously a little bit more doable that he signs it now. I think that this is a big step forward here. And maybe it's not a big step forward in bringing LeBron back here, but it's still a big step forward in providing some stability with a very stable basketball player and a guy who's obviously still at the top of his game. So you can still keep James Harden here. I know that that's not a thing that a lot of people want to hear. And obviously you can keep Evan Mobley here. And right now, Jared Allen is a member of this team. Until we find out what's going to happen with LeBron, he's still a member of this team.
Quite frankly, I've never seen anything like it in Cleveland sports where you have a team get to the Final Four of their sport, the last 4 teams playing, you have Donovan Mitchell, who has basically been
39-point half.
He's been as good as advertised, if not better, since he's been here. You can make the argument there's some numbers that show he's been even better than he's been in Utah. They've had great regular seasons. They've now had, some postseason success, some flameouts as well. But you had a team that had the formula to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and yet people left the Eastern Conference Finals mad at Donovan, mad at Harden, mad at Mobley, mad at the team, mad at the coach.
Yep.
And then to that, I'm just like, well, is it just a championship? Is that the only thing that will make you happy with this team? Because we found ways to be happy with the Mark Price, Brad Daugherty,
I told you.
Larry Nance Cavs that didn't do what this team
But you never
did.
had Michael Jordan on that team. You had the Michael Jordan of this era on the team, and he's still playing in the league, and there's still a possibility to bring him back. And there are people, like, we have to make this abundantly clear, because the people who hate LeBron, and there are people here who do hate LeBron, and they listen to the show, and they can't stand that we want LeBron James back. And they keep reminding us he's 41, he's 41, he's 41. I go, guys, I know he's 41. I know he's not going to be able to do the things that he was able to do before. We are not talking about bringing back 28-year-old LeBron James. That is over. What we are talking about is bringing a guy back who's a legend in his own right, who obviously can help out this basketball team and help them get over the hump. Donovan Mitchell, though, is more important of it because he represents the now and he represents the future. LeBron would be a very short future. I want to give him 2 years. You do not agree with that. You would rather just keep him for 1 year. I feel like I would rather have a year where they really try to go for the gusto, and then if they don't do it, then yeah, fine. I guess you have your retirement tour, and away we go.
Well, the 2-year thing
was
is
under
just,
the thought.
what is he going to look like?
That's
another year after another year of the pounding he's going to take.
And that's why I thought that if he signed for a 2-year deal, you have 1 year where it's like, all right, all systems are go. That was under the thought that Donovan wasn't going to sign that contract. I didn't think Donovan was going to sign an extension now.
Yeah, and by the way,
did.
An NBA superstar. What did we always say? Like, outside of LeBron, what superstar is going to want to stay in Cleveland, Ohio? And if ever there was a guy to do it, we would hug that guy. And Donovan Mitchell is the guy to do it, and I'm already seeing people go, ugh. It's like, you realize Donovan has been a top 10 player in Cleveland.
You don't like it?
For many years. So if not Donovan, who do you think is the guy that's going to come here, actually sign now not 1, but 2 extensions, right? 2 contracts.
Yeah.
What other superstars do you think are going to walk through the door? You think you're going to get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? You think you're going to get Luka? Who do you think you're going to Wemby? Who's next? Like, you're not going to get him. This is it. This is it. And when the Donovan thing is over, that's it.
216-474-0092. Have people been disrespectful to Donovan? Signing this contract, what does Donovan do for his legacy? What does it mean for bringing back LeBron? How do you feel about it? 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima on the Fan.
Great fences make great...
weeknights 11 to midnight. All the best segments from all our shows, and you can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Poor Daryl. Oh, my God. Poor Daryl. Daryl's on vacation, isn't he?
Yes.
I believe
he's on
so,
vacation.
yeah. He's at least not working.
I love Daryl. I'm so sorry. I hope he took it as a joke. I had to jump in. Daryl tweeted. The story broke 4 minutes after he tweeted it. Daryl tweeted, I believe Donovan Mitchell wants a 10-year Supermax contract, so even though the Cavs will probably offer him an extension this summer, I'd be pleasantly surprised if he signed it. He will wait until next summer. And then 4 minutes later, they announced that he signed the contract. And so I had to go like, hey, could you do us all a favor and say you'd be pleasantly surprised if the Browns win the Super Bowl this year, please? I hope he's having some fun with it because Daryl deserves his vacation.
You're preaching to the choir here.
I love Daryl. I do. I don't want him to get worked into a shoot.
Not in the mood for that today.
That was great.
So he's got 4 years, obviously, that he's been in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And let's say he sees the end of this contract. A lot of NBA players do not. But let's say he sees the end of this. That'll mean he spent more time in Cleveland than anywhere else. And I said people have taken him for granted. We had a whole video last week that kind of made the rounds of me talking about that. I feel like nobody has been treated as unfairly as Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland. Do you think this will change if he spends another 4 years in Cleveland, even if they don't win the championship? Obviously, if he wins the championship.
You think we've been disrespectful to Donovan lately?
I think, by and large, the way they talk about him is not how they talked about Mark Price, Brad Doherty, Larry Nance. We go through a bunch of Indians/Guardians players, too.
Do you think it was imperative that we hold on to Donovan Mitchell? Because I got another thing to bring up with you.
Well, I kept saying, how are you going to get a player better than Donovan Mitchell?
Okay, because we've been... Boy, we fight a lot about football. There's a lot about basketball, though, I just tend to agree with you on. Because I stood by him when they made the deal for Donovan. He was the best player they could have got. They had to kick this thing into high gear. It wasn't getting done with Colin Sexton. It wasn't getting done with Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. Nobody wanted to believe that at the time, but we all know the truth. And if you didn't know the truth then, you certainly know the truth now, or you just don't care about basketball or the Cavs. He's fabulous. And he will probably go down as the second greatest Cavalier ever. What deal were they supposed to make to be able to do that? Now, that being said, they've kind of found themselves stuck because you've made these, they feel like lily pad to lily pad moves. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you?
You talking about like so far?
There's not been an even path. Like when you look at Oklahoma City, and maybe Thunder fans would disagree. If you look at Boston, I use those two teams because those two teams have dealt with a lot of criticism over their just stranglehold over draft picks. They're both got championships in the case over the last 10 years because of some of those ways of patience. There's not really been a clear line to that. And because of that, it's made us kind of crazy as a fan base. Now, I might not be answering your question here, but that's kind of the way I see it. Because it's made us crazy as a fan base, anybody not named Jose Ramirez or LeBron or Nick Chubb, we have been very easy to move on from. Like Myles Garrett was a much easier conversation to have than what he should have been.
Yeah, it actually surprised me.
Yes.
And maybe it's because when you ask for a trade, the way he asked for it, and then a year later you're gone, all right.
If somebody gets on the radio and says Jose Ramirez should be traded here, they're going to need security to walk out the door. Like those three guys are untouchable. LeBron you wouldn't do, but there's definitely some back and forth with LeBron. And obviously I just talked about Nick Chubb. He walks on water here.
Here's the thing about Donovan. He has actually had the big playoff moments, much bigger playoff moments than Jose Ramirez and obviously Myles Garrett. Not necessarily their fault or whatever. Baseball's weird. It's small sample size. But Donovan has come up huge in playoff games.
I got to tell you this. It's also, to me, where I think, and I'm going to get to these calls here in a second, guys. Can I kind of thank Jalen Brunson and the Knicks? If Jalen Brunson was not the type of player he is for the Knicks, Like, he owns that town right now. Had he not been that type of player, you don't think Knicks fans would come calling? You don't think they'd be crazy? You don't think we'd be playing stuff from FAN? Because we did before. Before he signed the contract a couple of years ago, we were playing FAN clips of going, well, because Jalen Brunson was liked, but it was still a little bit like, up and down.
But they wanted Donovan. Their fans wanted Donovan.
They wanted Donovan. And the Nets are not the Knicks. I didn't think that Brooklyn was ever a fight. I thought he had a better chance playing for the New York Mets than the Brooklyn Nets. All right? I'm just kind of trying to put two and two together. Would we be here at this moment where he does provide stability for us now? Like, now we can kind of go off and go, we have a powerful player here. We have a player who's going to be here. Now we can bring people in because money's the same. We have a hard cap now. We might have a little bit to thank with Jalen Brunson being Jalen Brunson for the New York Knicks, because if he weren't that guy, maybe the Knicks be hammering and going crazy and trying to get after Donovan Mitchell, and then we might be starting a rebuild session all over again. Like, I'm trying to think on the fly here with this deal. Like, now we've put ourselves in a position where, yeah, I'd still like to have LeBron. I'd still like to bring back LeBron and see if he can help us put us over the hump. But you know what? If you have Donovan here, I think there's possibly other moves that you can make. Now, that probably says that you're going into the season as is, which is not anything anybody wants to do, but there's still other options that you have if you have Donovan long-term, and you do have Donovan long-term now, unless he turns into a pumpkin here over the next couple of years.
And I don't think,
and he physically breaks down.
We've talked about what part of his games are going to deteriorate, what kind of player he's going to be. Is he going to have the Dwayne Wade fall off because so much of his game was athleticism earlier in his career? But I do think he has evolved a little bit. Remember, he kind of still adds something to his game every year. Like last year was that big Euro step kind of pull through, and that became an effective move for him. And I think he is such a cerebral player in how he works out and how he adds dimensions to his game. I do think he's going to continue to add while the athleticism wanes. And yeah, we'd like to see him with some more playmaking and all of that. Well, if you play with some better players too, if you play with some role players who are a little better, their role players have kind of shrunk in recent years in the postseason. They kind of have.
So Donovan is untouchable now. Evan Mobley's untouchable. James Harden is basically staying, right?
Right, James Harden?
James Harden.
I think right now, yes. I'm assuming he's going to be on the team.
I'll be sad to see Jared Allen go if they bring in LeBron. Now, I'll be happy that we have LeBron back, obviously, but I think Jared Allen's been a fantastic basketball player for you and a really great representative of the organization and really great representative of Cleveland sports. But I got to do what I got to do. Unless LeBron picks someone else, then we got to talk about being disrespectful to Jared Allen. Mike in Avon Lake, you're first up on the Fan. Hello, Mike.
Hey, good to talk to you, Ken and Lima.
Hey.
Long time listener, first time caller here. Couple thoughts. I'd love to see Donovan stay. I'm happy that he re-signed. He reminds me of Kyrie before LeBron came and kind of showed Kyrie how to win. So I'm all for that, and I think LeBron is definitely coming back. LeBron, by the way, was with Usher, I think last night. If you check his Instagram, they were making fun of Kevin Hart. Usher had some like a small shirt and some small shorts. They kept that joke going. I was watching the U.S. men's team last night. My buddies asked me, put it to us in football terms. What am I watching right now? Guys, this is what the Browns would look like if they played soccer. That was awful.
I got texts like that.
Yep. Bolognese, Bulbasaur, Bologna. I don't know how you say his name, but he wasn't worth all the drama. That was awful. So Thanks a lot, guys. And I know my boys are listening. I love them.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate the call. 216-474-0092. I couldn't be let down in something I didn't know what I was watching.
Well, that's for sure.
I don't know the finer points of soccer. I know the finer points of football.
You didn't need to know them last night.
I know most of the finer points of the other things. I can be disappointed and say, I don't know the finer points of soccer, so how the hell am I supposed to say I'm disappointed?
Kenny, you just needed to see 5 minutes of that match, and you could tell who the superior team
They're
was.
better. And the soccer people that I know, they are absolutely disgusted. I wish I had that amount of passion, but I don't, and I can't sit there and fake it because then I would just be a poser. BP and Pepper Pike, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, BP.
Hey, how you guys both doing?
We're doing well, BP. You go right on ahead.
Thanks. Well, this Donovan Mitchell news is good news because it just fortifies the Cavs and, paints a better picture, a more secure picture for LeBron James to come back here. I think LeBron's going to come back, but I'm not going to say for sure like the last caller. you just never know what LeBron's thinking. There could be a fly in the ointment. He may want to go to Miami. He may want to go to Golden State. I still, even though I know the Cavs are the favorites, I'll believe it when I see it. I hope he makes a decision by this Friday. It'll almost be 12 years to the day when he came back on July 11th, 2014. And I think, I know there's been a lot of negativity about the Cavs and the roster, but if you add LeBron to this roster, I think we're going to soar to the top of the Eastern Conference and take down the Knicks.
Well, I'll tell you this. BP, thank you very much for the call. Let me throw this by you. Do you think Donovan calls up LeBron and goes, "Hey, I'm here for the long term now"? Does he begin the recruiting pitch?
Boy, we don't know a ton about their relationship, which you'd think would factor in pretty heavily in something like this. Now, what was LeBron and Kyrie before they became teammates? It was just LeBron admiring a young, talented player from afar. So it didn't necessarily have to be some huge match behind the scenes. And I think there's going to be respect because those are two veterans from different eras, but definitely two veterans at this stage that probably feel like they can help each other. So I haven't heard a lot when it comes to the two of them, but you never know how this stuff is. Like, we might hear a few days from now, like, oh, they've been on the phone every single day.
Because if he's willing to sign some deal, you want one of the very best to come play with you. Now, I know that he doesn't want to sit there and be responsible for letting other people go. I get that, but damn. Like, how do you not get on the phone and go, I did my part. I signed here long term. You ain't got to worry about me now. Remy in South Amherst, you're next up on the Fan.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Remy.
I was talking with a couple of friends of ours, and they said that since the Donovan Mitchell trade was, really nice and everything, there was a possible chance of, no, I'll say it, LeBron is coming back, and I believe that there might be another trade in the works.
What's the other trade?
The other trade would be Jared Allen and Max Strus for AD, since Washington just traded for DeAndre Ayton.
That's been brought up once before. I'm not ripping on you there, Remy. That's been brought up before. I'm very, very nervous about AD.
Who's also
I would be too, but just the way that we were all talking and saying things and everything, I was just like, you know what, I could see it happen. And with that goal that we had last night, from the soccer team too, also and everything, the Belgians scored it for us. So
okay, thank you very much.
The other thing about AD,
I did not know that.
54 million, 58 million. Yeah, went off his head. 54 million, 58 million, 62 million player option, 27 and 28. So money doesn't even really
paying that close of attention. You telling me we technically lost 4-0?
Hey,
5-0.
You have no chance to score it unless you kick it. But
fair enough. What were you saying?
There's just so much money with Anthony Davis. Now I will tell you,
Anthony Davis is like the Joe Burrow of the NBA.
The odds of Anthony Davis making it through a season, highly unlikely. Even though he's still 33, and we're seeing players well into their 30s. Look at Kawhi had his best year last year. James Harden was still a really, really good player. But Anthony Davis played 20 games last year. I'm sorry. He played 21 last year, 60 the year before, 42 the year before that.
I thought somebody was going to make me challenge me on the Joe Burrow comparison. Nobody did. I thought Owen gave a little look for a second.
He's just really good but really injured?
Yeah. At least you got it right off the rip.
If Anthony Davis got to the actual playoffs, nobody would want to play the Cavs, and that includes the Knicks. They would want no part. Anthony Davis, when he's actually healthy,
when is he healthy?
Right, so that's the question. But when he's healthy, when I've seen him healthy, his defense, he has like a higher ceiling than Evan Mobley defensively.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. That's why I made the comparison. He could have been one of the dominant players of the NBA.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, I think, could be one of the dominant quarterbacks in the NFL if he could ever stay healthy. Anthony Davis is the same way.
He's a dominant rebounder. Yeah. He's that mid-range jumper is incredible.
And maybe that's what LeBron sees in him. Maybe LeBron sees that there is, if he's healthy, there could be something that is extremely special here. And LeBron would know better than us, but I don't know if that's the prudent move considering. Now, would you be willing to give up Max Strus and Jared Allen to be able to get Anthony Davis? I think a lot of people at first blush would say no. Look, because I think they think Anthony Davis is made of glass, and he really is. But I think at some point you can't just give up nothing for somebody with a name.
So it's also upgrading the talent. This is in the NBA. It's one of those things that hurts you in the regular season because guys aren't healthy, guys can't go all the time. But in the postseason, you're always banking, if you can get them healthy into the postseason, big if, but if you can get them there, you're always banking on talent because the playoffs, as we see, it's so much harder for those role players to shine consistently, to even get shots off with how crowded things are. Well, Anthony Davis, he's going to be able to get shots off. He's going to be able to get rebounds.
That's true.
He's going to be able to play to defend.
Would that, obviously, if you did all that, it's like, how could he go anywhere else? If you were able to complete
LeBron?
all this, how could LeBron go anywhere else? Because I got Donovan signing something long term. I have Evan Mobley locked. I have Evan Mobley locked up, right? James Harden's going to fall in line, it seems. So if I have James Harden falling in line here, like all the cosmic tumblers are clicking into place. Now I just have. If you were going to do an Anthony Davis deal, I think a lot of people would side eye that. But if it came with LeBron, I think a lot of people would be more okay with it. If you just were able to get Anthony Davis and LeBron decided to do something else, first off, I don't think you're getting LeBron. I don't think you're getting Anthony Davis without something said by LeBron or by Rich Paul that you get Anthony Davis, LeBron will come here. But those tumblers clicking into place, I think a lot of people would feel much better about the future of the franchise and the near future of the franchise. 216-474-0092. This has become a big day. Donovan Mitchell has signed a long-term deal a year earlier than the vast majority of NBA media, the vast majority of Cavs fans thought he would do. What's this do for Donovan's legacy? What's this do for the possibility of bringing back LeBron James? Our final segment, asking you that question in 5 minutes on The Fan.
Keep your jobs moving faster and on budget at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Hear the big moves from around the NBA every 20 minutes. Your source for sports is Cleveland Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
Donovan's back. Donovan's back long term. This is great stuff. This is a good thing. I know if I say it a bunch of times, people are not going to believe me. It is a good thing. Because, no, what it does is it puts the respect back into Donovan's name. Because we were saying a lot of things that probably seem to be a little bit desperate. Because we did get desperate. So you need something for stability. Donovan being long-term at a lesser price is stable. It's good business. He's a great player. He is still one of the top 10. And where does the Ringer have him right now?
11.
He is still, okay, well, that's arguable then. So he's still one of the top 10, 11
right up there.
players in the NBA.
He was 9th and he moved to 11.
Okay,
so
exactly.
Essentially the same
so they
player.
probably had him ahead of Brunson before the playoffs.
Right. So this is an elite player, and what you have is stability now with an elite player. You can have other people play with him, and what else this does is also, this is a showing here, when it comes to the NBA, there's a lot of people who got to get past the old thinking of the NBA. The stuff that I've been hearing out of some of the national media, out of some of the podcast hosts, out of some of the writers, you got to get out of that thinking. This is a league that, as of right now, is becoming more like the NFL than the NFL. I've said to you before, and there was the article, I think it was, who the hell was it last week? And I said, finally, they're coming around. Because the NFL, to me, I told you what I think of the NFL cap. It's just not real. If they want you that bad, they're going to keep you. To me, it's just a giant excuse to get rid of veterans, is what the NFL salary cap is. And there used to be a lot of people who fight me on that. Now they don't. But, Tone, the NBA, this is a strong salary cap. So have money, we'll travel. And I think a lot of players are going, yeah, 10 years ago, had they been in their early 20s, if it were a different era, they're not coming here. They're not coming here. We know from experience, LeBron, 2007 through 2010, sign the deal, sign the deal, sign the deal. If you don't sign the deal, no one's coming here. No one's coming to Cleveland. That's changed. You got the money, they'll come play for you. Now you have to put the organization together. You got the right people in the front office, you can do that. You got the right players, you can do that. It's much harder because your room for error is that much harder to do. I know there's quarterbacks and there's fewer of them that are great, so that makes it difficult. But you have so few players. It's very hard to find the elite ones. It's very hard to find the ones that you can count on that can give you everything. And Donovan, I think if we just take a breath, gives us just about everything we could hope for. I don't have to worry about him flying off the handle. Like, I don't have to worry about any Ja Morant crap with Donovan Mitchell.
No.
I don't, like,
Boy,
they tried to make him the franchise.
They
tried to make Ja Morant the next face of the league. They tried to make Zion Williamson the next face of the league.
I thought both of them would be.
And we all did. We all did. I was convinced and went on CBS Sports Radio saying that Zion Williamson was going to take over for LeBron, that we didn't have to worry about anything. We all did. Like, some guys can handle it. Donovan Mitchell, wasn't number 1 overall or number 2 overall, but Donovan Mitchell can obviously handle it. He's good with the public, good with the media, obviously good with his teammates, it seems. Okay? Has all that. I ain't got to worry about him flying off the handle. I don't have to worry about him doing weird trade requests. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. This is a moment to kind of recognize how good he's been. For not just as a player, he's one of the best players in the NBA. If you're ranked number 9 or 11 in the NBA, you're one of the elite players, you're one of the 1%ers. That needs to be said about him. But there's also everything else he brings to it and what this provides to be a place for LeBron or possibly something else for the future. Because if they don't get LeBron this year, if he does take forever and he doesn't decide to come here, I'll be very disappointed. Hell, depending on how long he takes, I might actually have to turn around and be mad at him for it. But if he continues along this line, there will be other moves that can be made. This is a great thing for the franchise, and I think this is a great thing for the fan base. Even though they might not see it yet because they're in a malaise because of the way the season ended.
When they traded for Donovan Mitchell, the sentiment was he'll never stick around. He'll never stick around in Cleveland. He'll bolt the first chance he gets. And I feel like, and I know this is maybe the debatable point here, I feel like he's delivered. You know, you can't just hang it on Donovan that they have not been to the finals or won a championship. He's been an All-NBA first teamer. He's been an All-NBA second teamer twice.
Yes.
Okay, he's delivered massive playoff moments. I mean, that should stand for something. That should count for something.
Yes, it should.
But it for whatever reason, it seems like because they gave up so much to get him, and they've had bad flameouts in the playoffs too, that it's all on him.
And because the greatest to ever wear the jersey is still in the league. And there's never not going to be that comparison until LeBron retires. And even for a little time after. Because we compare LeBron to a ghost in Michael Jordan. By the way, if you missed the breaking news earlier, and you could hear our immediate reaction, you can use the rewind feature on the free Odyssey app. It's powered by Integrated Restoration, your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. Now, we did have a caller bring up the possibilities. Now, we've heard this before about bringing in LeBron and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis would be great if he were healthy. He would be great if he were healthy. I called him the Joe Burrow of the NBA, which I thought I might get side-eyed, but you guys went right along with me, so I felt even better about that. If you were able to make some of these moves, it has to start with Donovan. And so now this is the first thing that's locked in where you don't have to worry about next year. I don't have to worry about the $70 million thing. That's a hell of a lot of money. He's still going to get paid a hell of a lot of money. These are guys who are willing to do what's necessary to try to put a championship on the table. And I also think that this is Donovan's one of his last gasps, because there's a lot of guys who want to sit in that driver's seat of an NBA roster. And right now he's the driver of this basketball team, and he's been that way since he got here. But I did start to think that now you're 30, can you really be the driver of this organization? Or are you like a lot of very talented but limited guards that can't, because of their size, because of their physical prowess, take that team over the hump and win a championship? And many guys had to learn that. Kyrie is a tremendous player. Arguably, I'm already having people saying he's the second best Cavalier ever. Well, he had the greatest moment in Cavalier history. I don't think he's the second greatest Cavalier ever. I think that we have Donovan Mitchell right now. But Kyrie tried it, couldn't do it. So many guys tried it, couldn't do it. I do think that if we're looking at something different, this is Donovan's last chances as a driver to a team that wins a championship. I also think that he sees Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, without a doubt, is the unequivocal leader of that basketball team. I think that he sees he could do the same thing here in Cleveland. And again, I will continue to bring up, if Jalen Brunson wasn't him, that wasn't the type of player he is, it wasn't the type of leader he is with the Knicks, and hadn't been a championship-level player that won a championship, we were playing clips from FAN 2 years ago about them talking about trades for Donovan, how Donovan would never want to stay in Cleveland. He's from New York. He wants to go back to New York. He wants to play for the Knicks. We'd be doing all that again. So in a way, if we're able to keep Donovan and bring LeBron back, now we could go out and play the Knicks in the postseason. They could hammer us again. So I'm not going to go this far. But you could see a scenario where, yeah, he made it more likely, Jalen Brunson made it more likely that we would sign Donovan, that we would get him to understand not to wait until next year. And if you get LeBron back, and hell, if you get Anthony Davis back and they all stay healthy, hell, if you're able to beat him in the postseason, you might be able to thank him at the end of it.
Donovan also
might be a bit too far.
In doing this, basically saves them $50 million. You know, it is a savings over time, because he could have waited it out a year and signed the $70 million over 5 years, which is just crazy. This is another one you're going to hear from NFL players on these contracts. This next rung of contracts. You know, they're already going, Kessler made how much money? Donovan Mitchell made how much money? All these guys are going to end up making north of like $500 million in their NBA career. It's staggering the sums of money.
When you only got 12 on a roster compared to 53. When you play for 9 months out of the year compared to 5. And you can bitch and moan all you want, but that's the way the leagues are set up. Thanks to Owen. It's good to have you back. We love Kayla. But you're a brother. What?
It's 30th anniversary of Bash at the Beach, by the way.
Wow.
Where does the time go? Are you serious?
We'll do a full review later.
Bash-iversary.
We got to talk about that on the pod.
All you fans can stick it.
You can stick it, brother. Boy, a lot of those guys have passed away. Mean Gene, Hogan, Scott Hall. Man. Bobby Heenan. Those were the glory days, man.
They all did it for the love of wrestling. Nash did it for the love of money. He's still alive.
I don't know where the lesson is in that, but you can find out during the emerging podcast scene, which you could find at 923thefan.com. It's actually on the show page. People have asked, guys. It's right there within the hours on the show page. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Hey,
sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Oh!